Welcome. This is the Inview. My name is Clint Denyer. This is the weekly show we do on Sunday nights, which is very different to anything else you will see out there or even hear out there, to be honest, because the Inview is very much about your view and it's very much about bringing people to the forefront that wouldn't normally get there, if you know, and we bring real news as well, and we have fun as well. That's a really important factor. Thank you very much for everyone coming along. We have got, of course, the aptly named Pepe. Hello, Pepe. How are you? He looks like he's very, very excited about the show tonight. And Nigel, of course, who is always on the show, that he comes down with Pepe from the stratosphere of the universe every single week to come and join the show. And yes, I know Nigel. I know he's feeling a little bit left out because Pepe seems to have more room than him on the show. I have no idea. I mean, you know, they can sort that out themselves. I want to tell you something very exciting before I tell you about the guests on the show tonight. In the background, we have got somebody working very hard and diligently to redistribute this show in a different way. We've spoken about it many times. But next week, we are going on a completely new platform, which will simultaneously broadcast YouTube and Facebook Live at the same time as me doing the show. The picture quality will be even better, and there will be no interruptions, and hopefully there won't be any tonight. There wasn't any last week. Hello, Jason McCusbro. How are you? It's great to have you on board. Jason McCusbro, who lives all the way over in Hampshire, you know. Lovely to have you on board tonight. Yes, so it's a different platform. It will go out simultaneously broadcast on Instagram and Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and the picture shall be very different. And we will have down on the bottom screen here, you can't really see, but down on the bottom of the screen here, you will have all sorts of things on there and bits and pieces. So, and another thing that's going to change this show completely is the fact that our guests, we can actually have split screens, which means not only can you hear our guests, but you'll be able to see them as well. So that'd be really good. Patricia DeAngelis, hello, how are you? It's fantastic to have you on board. Patricia, I take my hat off to you because Patricia's she's listening all the way over in Sydney in Australia. It must be very early in the morning over there, and she's drinking lots of coffee. She's a lovely lady. She will be on the show in the not too distant future again. She says, hello, Clint, Nigel and Pepe, and everyone. Absolutely. Well, Pepe and Nigel had a little bit of an argument earlier on as to where they're going to sit, because, as you know, they don't move about. But actually, when the show stops, they actually get up and walk. You wouldn't believe that, would you? So, yeah, I just thought I'd bring that exciting news. Next week's show will be very, very different. Very different. Patricia says, I'm living and listening. It's 4:02 a.m. Well, I can't think of a better thing for you to do at 2 minutes past 4 in the morning, Patricia. It's fantastic to have you on board. So who's on the show, what's happening and everything else? We have got a star lined up guest list again. We've got the amazing Patrick Gamble, good friend of mine, well-respected visionary and psychic artist. He's been creating magical paintings for 27 years. He's particularly well known for his spirit guide portraits and psychic readings that he offers at shows and everywhere else. I'm really looking forward to speaking to Patrick again. He will be coming to us live from Cornwall. We have got the amazing Mugs Cully, who will Cluley, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, who with our partner Murray are creating an amazing new retreat space outside the area of Glastonbury. She's also a very spiritually aware person and will be telling her story to us. And not only that, but she's going to tell me off because I'm meant to go on there by now and come and see him. But I will make sure that happens in the next week. Then we got brand new to the interview tonight, a new guest as well, because Mags has been on before. We've got a new guest as well. Grant Hicks is on, who's a very spiritual being, who says he wants to get the most out of life and try to get people to see the funny side of things, and a bit of adrenaline junkie and loves live music. And then we finish tonight with the amazing Dr. Horace McNorris. Now, remember, he was the inventor of the Orgasmatron, and he is the very slightly mad inventor and challenger in our reality. So I wonder what he's going to come up with, and I wonder what he's going to come up with and invent. So our first guest up tonight will be the amazing Patrick Gamble. But of course, before we start with that. We always have a bit of news of the week. Patrick Gamble's coming up about 7:15. My phone here will be rocking away when he gets on the blower. I want to talk to you about what's going on in this country for the moment. Not beside what's going on in the world. We're all in a mess, as we all know. But I want to talk about Boris Johnson. What a change, talking about Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, in this massive cataclysmic time we are in here in England, Wales, Scotland and Ireland. Well, only a bit of Ireland because some of it is actually in the EU. Boris Johnson has decided that he'd take a break and not worry about anything, not worry about the exam results, the fiasco, what that was, not worry about anything. He's gone on a little break. Boris Johnson's family, who had enjoyed a break in a teepee in the Scottish Highlands, camped in a local sheep farmer's field without permission, it has emerged. Kenny Cameron said the Prime Minister and his fiancée, Carrie Simmons, obviously that the headlines there obviously carry on camping, isn't it? And his fiancée, Carrie Simmons, had pitched their bow tent on it's about appropriate sort of tent he should be in, really, a bow tent. Pitched their bow tent on his land in Applecross and had a campfire without asking him. He added that the couple appeared to have climbed over, listen to this, the couple climbed over his 3-foot wire fence to access the tent rather than use the gate. And bear in mind, he's on holiday with Carrie, obviously his fiancée, his son, and a dog. He told online magazine, Mr. Johnson is meant to be leading the country. He's their son, Wilfred, and their dog, Dylan, at a spot called the Old Schoolhouse, including one in a bobble hat and another of him chatting to locals at a spot in Applecross on the west coast of Scotland. The Prime Minister's family were thought to have spent some of the break soon. The Old Schoolhouse, which he rented out, was £1,500 a week, apparently. There you go. Mr. Johnson, you're a shambles. Absolute shambles. Your government are complete and utter useless, full of use, and go and live in tents permanently, to say, because that makes no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, that's what Mr. Johnson pictures. I've been working very hard in trying to bring you some of the best, trying to steer clear of coronavirus, but I'm sure it will come up tonight. Patricia DeAndre, she said, oh Lord, he's a sheep man. Yes, he is a sheep man. Don't even start on the sheep. We might have Lieutenant Kit Kat on the phone if you start talking about that. You remember last week I told you about a bag snatching wild boar, Elsa. Well, apparently the Sun newspaper in this country has spared her the chop. Forestry chiefs had said the cheeky swine must be cold after thieving antics saw her chased by a nudist. And yesterday they bowed to our SOS Save Our Sow campaign. You cannot even write this, can you? And yesterday naked bather Klaus Borland, 44, said, I don't think there's a single person here who want to see her shot. We're delighted you've come all the way from England to save her bacon. Oh dear, oh dear. And here it is. There is a picture of Elsa. There, you might be able to just make that out, and somebody bending over. I don't know what that's about, but yes, they are. And I've seen some crazy bonkers things in all my time, but there's a picture of Katie Price does what she can to make her hair frizzy. And I suppose this is in lockdown. Look at this. She has got empty Coke cans. What about that? That's bonkers, isn't it? And also there's a story here. Try not to find the racist stories, but Gemma Jane Brooks joined us. Hello, Gemma. Thanks a lot for coming along and joining us. Swingers heading for a sellout, bear in mind, sex festival will be barred from bonking because of COVID. Punters have been told there will be no sexual activity to ensure the event means current coronavirus restrictions. Council chiefs were outlawed, even outlawed an adult bouncy castle. I don't know what that looks like. Do you know what an adult bouncy castle looks like? I suppose it must have all sorts of things in it. And the annual Swing Fest to go ahead. Next weekend's bash takes place at Hull in this country. Can you believe it? Can you believe it happens in this country? Can you believe I thought it might be somewhere hedonistic, like in Jamaica or somewhere? But no, it's here in Hull. I can't think of a more dreary place to go, to be honest. Couples and solo men have paid $42.95 and single women $22.25. Hull City Council said it was work of the organisers to ensure their plans to meet up-to-date restrictions imposed by COVID-19. Oh dear, Gemma Jane Brick says, a socially distant swingers party. That brings a whole new dimension, doesn't it? I have the images of I don't know what film it was, but the images of I think it was on one of the funny film Naked Gun, something like that, where they had safe sex, where they were actually in giant condoms, and I thought that was quite funny. Jim J. Brooks says, disinfect the car keys. Yes, look but don't touch. Another story here. How on earth can you have that going on? I can't believe it. Anyway, each their own. Student City, Oxford trumps the rest of the country. I'm sorry about this, but this is smarty pants for farty pants. This is Student City, Oxford trumps the rest of the country. So Oxford is a place to go. Chuff residents there let go 23 times a day, apparently. They have flatulence. They fart 23 times a day. Britain's most flatulent cities. Oxford was top, 23. Leeds, 22. Norwich, 21. And Manchester was all down at 13. So that is 13 times a day. So there you are. Unbelievable. Hello, Matthew. John, how are you? It's good to speak to you all. Good evening and morning to all, he says. This one here, blue plaque marks the night US President Dwight Eisenhower had a caravan in Western-super-Mare. The future leader, then a general, kipped in a Somerset resort on his way to D-Day invasion 1944. Like as he was known, opted for a caravan instead of a hotel because all his troops camped. And the council yesterday unveiled the blue plaque, which is fixed to a water tower wall next to where he slept in Western Woods. What about that? You didn't know that, did you? Gemma Jane Brooks says most of the flatulence, most of the flatulent place is eaten out of their mouths. Yes, I actually feel that, that's more than that. They say Oxford is the worst at 23. I actually feel that when you're in a cabinet meeting, I think that's probably the worst. So London would come out tops, especially 10 Downing Street, because they speak nothing but shite anyway. Now, this is a story here. Gadget is big turn on. Alexa, who finds your voice sexy. Middle-aged men from Barnstable. I don't know why it's from Barnstable. Are most likely to find the voice of virtual assistant Alexa sexy, a poll found. Now, if you've got an Alexa, I haven't got one. It's a machine that talks to you, chooses your music and everything else. I don't know why we need these things, but eventually Alexa will be a robot that's in your house and do everything, do your washing, cooking, cleaning. Serve all your needs. You won't need a human being to be a partner. You'll have an Alexa, a robot humanoid type being. I mean, there are some of them out there already. You only have to look at who Boris is as a partner. What else we got here? This one here. Fury at filth. This is BBC blow cash on sex chat podcast. Yeah, over 75's licenses act. BBC bosses spending big on podcasts discussing graphic sex and paying for them by scrapping free TV licenses for over 75s, has been claimed. The audio shows packed with filth, bear in mind, absolute filth it is, and aimed at attracting a younger audience are being pushed out at thousands of pounds a pop. Among them is unexpected. How are these podcasts, right? Among them is unexpected fluids. Oh dear. So there's a podcast about unexpected fluids. I suppose that could be very much about the rain we've had. I will come back to that story, but we won't have time to do that because we have somebody on the phone, and I've got a very strange feeling that on the phone right now is somebody called Mr. Patrick Gamble. Hello, Patrick.
Hello there, Clint. How are you?
How are you? What a fantastic line. You're all the way down in Cornwall. I love your accent. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
How are you doing, young Patrick Gamble?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, keeping busy and amongst everything and under the current situation. But yeah, life is always very, very busy, Clint.
I know. I've seen you've been very busy. I know you were doing up lots in the house. And I know you've been out there busy painting and all sorts of that. And I love your cards you put out every day on Facebook. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, the cards seem to have. I mean, it's something that. I mean, if I use the word by chance, but kind of, I don't really kind of believe in chance or coincidence anymore. But yeah, they came about, and they just proven to be very, very. I don't know what the word is. They just work really well.
Hmm. And of course, all of the cards are pictures you painted, aren't they?
Yes, well, that's right. They're from, whether I call it feelings and dreams or,
it could
visions.
be extraterrestrial knowledge, Patrick.
It could be. It's from, the power of the mind, the power of thought. We have what I call logical thought, but we also have very, spiritual or higher thoughts. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And how have you got? Because we're out. So, well, I don't know where we are. You probably don't know where you are either in relation to where we are with lockdown, not lockdown, can't do this, can do this, can't do this, can do that. All I know is that none of us have seen each other for a long time because there's no events on.
No, absolutely. It's like for everyone. This year is pretty well for events. It's all into next year, really. Whatever that means when we get there, holding a positive thought on it.
Absolutely.
So I guess we're kind of like restructuring in a way, and obviously a lot more people now are going to the internet more and everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the way it was going before the lockdown, but obviously with the lockdown, it's encouraged people to be more interactive in a different way.
Yeah, and in a way, it's still, I still do readings and things like that. I'm sure you're still busy doing bits and pieces like that online and stuff and bits and bobs, and we can meet people now. That's something. But you miss, like me, probably the shows because you miss meeting up with everyone like yourself,
Well, it was. I mean, I was away quite a bit as well. I mean, probably I was away from home more than I was there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been quite a big thing, and I guess when it kind of suddenly stopped, it was a bit of a shock, and I guess to some extent you think, gosh, what does all this mean? Because it is your livelihood and your living, and it's kind of what you do, and the lovely thing of meeting, people, old friends, and meeting new ones. So that social interaction is really kind of very important. So
because you got around all over the place, didn't you? I don't mean it as it sounds, but you got everywhere, didn't you?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I guess it's kind of like many shows in this country and, also across the water as well. So it's kind of like, very big part of what I do, whether it was like going to a mind, body and spirit fair, or whether it was a private place doing readings. And there's just the workshops. Gosh, there was just so much.
And I think it's the end of this week. You're at Yin and Yang in Glastonbury, aren't you?
Yeah, that's slowly kind of. I must say they've created a lovely space, and it meets all the government guidelines.
Right.
People can just walk straight in rather than going through the shop. It's really kind of. I didn't even know that room existed, and it works really well, and it's been quite good. So I think I've done it once before, and then this is my second time now. Yeah. Things are slowly trickling back in.
Glastonbury is chock-a-block, I'll tell you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Absolutely chock-a-block of people.
Yes, so...
And I expect you're booked up for that already.
I believe I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe I am. It's kind of, which I was, to be honest with you, I was kind of booked up on the first one. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, because we have, there are people that are, very much wanting just to get on with things, and then the other flip side of that, there's people that are still very much afraid, unsure.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting there. But
there is a lot of fear out there still, isn't there? Really, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yes, a lot.
But I mean, what they've done is mind screw most people, so they don't know what they're doing, really.
I'm afraid it does look like that. Yes, it's kind of very, it's very.
Most people think it's easy. I'll stay in bed.
Yeah, it's very confusing what actually is going on and what exactly. I mean, we kind of like, common sense. It's kind of, but in amongst all that, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
I know. And for people out there who don't know what Patrick does, he's an amazing. Look, he sat down with me a couple of times. Which was a trial in itself, I'm sure. But and he sits there and he paints your spirit guides or helpers or even teachers, maybe, and sometimes it could be even you in a past life, can't it?
It can. It can be one of them. It can be connections to all of them. Because I work more on the psychic side, it seems to have gone down the road of dealing with people's pathways in life and direction. And, there's two sorts of people that come. There's one which are their spiritual growth, and they're very interested in that. And so it takes them into that wanting to learn or gain more knowledge about their own self, their own energy, their soul and everything. And then there are the people that are kind of struggling within the world, and for a number of circumstances. I mean, life can be very rewarding, but it can also be very, very testing and challenging.
Oh God, yeah.
So when it's rewarding, obviously, we don't need any help as such. It's all going right. But there's times when it's really very, very difficult, and the doorways all seem closed. So people come for a reading and maybe just confirmation about a choice or a decision they are thinking about making.
Yeah, absolutely. And people that come back, I always say to people coming back, you're part of the journey. It's not just the reading. Yeah. So you sit in the passenger seat, really helping them on the journey.
Absolutely. So it's all quite.
The art is amazing. I don't know if they'll be able to show you this, but I've got one here. This is Patrick Gamble. This isn't Patrick Gamble, obviously. This is what he painted for me, which is that amazing. You probably remember it, Patrick. It's like Atlantean figure with the eye on the forehead.
Right. Okay. I'm just because I'm coming on my phone, so I have got no visual.
No, don't worry. No, that's all right. But it's interesting because the eye is a very strong representation of my brand.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it's interesting, and I didn't have that when you did that. So
No, and it kind of unfolds. It's kind of like because when people come, we have part of what's going on in their life to the past, the present, and things come up for the future as well. Yeah. So it's kind of like those aspects, it's all interconnected. It's very intriguing for me that sat on the other side of the table that's trying to understand an image or a face or a symbol, and trying to interpret that and put it into an understanding that the person opposite me can make sense, if you like.
Yeah. Matthew John, who is with us, we've got quite a few people listening at the moment. Matthew John says, "Good evening, Patrick. What is your take on Agenda 21?"
Well, it's all kind of it's one of those really. I don't know what to kind of say really on that. It's kind of it's one of those.
These things exist, as you know, Agenda 21 and everything else, which are as a realism, as real as what your pictures are, to be honest. Obviously, not a lot of people know about it, or if they do, some people talk about it, some people don't. But in a way, all of us, in one shape or form, with the positive. I know, like yourself, like me, and like hundreds of thousands of other people out there, are fighting on a different level, aren't we?
Yes. I mean, it's this multi-dimensional, faceted thing that's going on. I do paint things that I don't even understand myself. It's kind of like, the knowledge that I learn from everyone else, and it's all part of that, and that's such an interesting thing that's going on. So in my mind, I have a very open mind. That's one thing I never used to, but I have a very open mind, because of the possibilities, and so I've gone from a person maybe of a closed mind into one that's very open for things,
And it's very interesting. I say this every time, but I mean, your background is the same as mine, really, in lots of ways. From the building.
Yeah, absolutely. I still keep my hand in a little bit.
Yeah, me
building.
Too.
Because it's so interesting.
Yeah, well, I think it's grounding as well, isn't it? And it's about getting your hands dirty, getting into the earth and stuff like that, and doing something which in a different way paints a different picture. It's just what you do in reality,
No, sure, absolutely. It's kind of it creates the balance within everything, because it's just good to kind of get down close to the ground and get back to the basics, as well as doing all the spiritual stuff as well.
Yeah, you've got to have the balance, and I think that's what people find very difficult in this reality, is the balance between spirituality and living, basically, in this reality. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And it's very much about what you are inside, because you're the driving force as a soul being inside, which is just basically on experience here on Earth in the body you're in.
Yes.
And, from it, the body wants certain things and the inner self wants something else altogether different. And it is about bringing those worlds together, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's got, balance is something it's very hard to, I find it quite hard to find. And because in amongst everything, but it is trying to maintain that balance and work with that. But yeah, it's something, I guess in a way, it's everyone's very capable of so many things.
Absolutely.
And it's learning to adapt at times.
And it's belief.
And it's belief, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because, when you go and put, you're knocking up some pug and you build an extension, you're not sitting there thinking, I must paint a picture now. Do you know what I mean? And when you're painting a picture, you're not thinking, I've got to go and lay some bricks.
I know.
It is about having things in the right places as well. And, when, the art you do is absolutely phenomenal. And the images. And, you're going to tell me, I know, that you were never an artist in the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's right.
And that's mad, isn't it?
Well, it's crazy. You can't believe how life takes on changes. And, I guess from coming from a place with very little schooling to my childhood, and then, becoming using my hands and coming into the building trade, I guess, to create this something as an artist or painting, I can't, it's hard to kind of think about exactly how my life changed, and it grew in so much in that direction.
And you must have been shocked the first time you painted something.
Well, I guess I was quite shocked, and I guess at the time there were people around me, family members and that were also quite thinking,
shocked.
Gosh, yes. And it's something I couldn't really understand, or I couldn't really get my head around too much, actually. And to some extent, because it came through on a spiritual direction, or energy. Because I was an atheist, a non-believer, I kind of became this, where I just dismissed any form of something greater or other. And so I kind of had personal struggles with the possibilities that there could be influences around.
Yeah. Can you remember what you did on that first one? That have you still got that?
Yeah, I have still got it. I painted just a very old man's face, and to me at the time, it was just a very old man, and I didn't know it had any other deeper meaning. But after quite a long years, I did come to learn that I actually painted one of my guides.
Wow!
But I had no knowledge of even guides or anything of that nature.
because you just naturally do it. It's not a
Well,
case, and we're not looking at images are so different from each other. Do you know what I mean? They're not. It's not something. It's so bespoke to the individual. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it's kind of I guess in a way. I mean, because I started to use oil. I didn't go out to buy oil paints. Oil paints were given to me, or through my work as a builder. But it was given to me in amongst building stuff. It wasn't just paint.
Not you. Well, you didn't want using Dulux or anything like that. And...
No, no. So that was the initiation into painting. So for many years, I just used oils, and then it changed through doing workshops and such, and the diversity. I guess in a way, I love to explore the element of creativity with paint.
The mind. You like to explore the mind of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like so. And even with my own mind, I kind of didn't. I wanted to step out. I wanted to step out from the restrictions of my mind, and so I kind of explored that more. Because I also know that it held me in a space, and because of something I felt was right or wrong, there were far more than just that. Because my right is not someone else's right.
No.
So when I'm painting a picture, what may feel wrong to me, it feels very, very right to someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I explored all this, and that's it. So it's quite an interesting journey over the years.
Because you've gone on from you do, obviously, you paint people's, whatever it is, teachers, guides, helpers, whatever they are, to actually sitting down. I know before COVID, you were doing workshops like in Watford and all sorts, where you had groups that you did a workshop for a weekend or whatever, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the interesting, when I first came into all this, and I was labelled it wasn't my label, but I was labelled a psychic artist.
Yeah.
One of the things people and a lot of governing bodies said that, the proof of life after death is about painting family members. And I did go through a time of actually painting family members and bringing that element into play, but it goes beyond that, and it goes a big way beyond that as well. So it's kind of it took me into all these other aspects, and then somewhere deep inside of me there was an element of sacred geometry and all these things coming through, and then into the workshops where I do honestly believe that everyone has the creative flair. It can be locked away. It can be restricted through a number of things. So we do workshops we do a number of workshops. Workshops can range from painting the vision to teaching psychic art, or even learning the oracle deck and personal development. So
a hell of a lot. Yeah, and I mean, when you're doing that with people that have never picked a paintbrush up before, or not very often. And obviously you go through, you almost get them in a zone, basically, over the weekend, which comes from the teachings you have inside yourself, or the teacher that you are, the other side, another side of yourself. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that they get that, and they must be absolutely astounded at what they paint.
Well, it's kind of like, I guess everything, whether someone has picked up a paintbrush for the first time in 40 years, and the last time they picked it up they were 6 years old, or whether it's someone that dabbles in quite a bit with painting. The thing is, we kind of we try not to treat a workshop like a classroom, and we try to give them everything they experience that day, I still experience when I'm painting. I have days when it's really hard to paint. I have days when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I have days when it's really... But so we try to get them that we're kind of like, it's quite a normal process, and we're trying to get them to enjoy it. So I have a board in front of me, and I work with them and show them. So it's a very visual thing, but then they have the opportunity to bring their own personal character or their personal feelings into play, and do something individual while we're all going down the same direction. So it's trying to get them to believe in themselves more, trust in themselves, and it is discovery. I mean, it is self-discovery.
And it's about learning as well, because what they paint, they might not even been aware of.
absolutely.
And
So
and
it's
you know, they must be astounded at what they deliver on, because they're using skills and abilities within inside themselves to bring something. We're not looking at playground children here, but we're looking at people that are expressive. And when we open up that expressive and creative bandwidth inside us, we find we can do anything.
no, absolutely not. You know what? This is the thing, and again, it's our own insecurities, our unsureness. It's our kind of lack of belief.
How we've been controlled, basically. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Clint. So all those things we kind of approach in a certain way while we're creating, and bear in mind, you know, a workshop is 2 days, so each day is approximately about 6 hours long. So you know, and also when we're painting pictures, I mean, I could be on a painting for 3 weeks.
I know, or 2 years.
Oh, 2 years, exactly. So it is a very short time in order to get people flying.
Yeah.
But we manage to. I mean, it depends on where and what they're trying to paint. There's a lot, but it's the foundation that's being put in place.
Yeah, because they only get better and better.
And that is it. It is a development. And one thing I've kind of I don't give up on a paint. I have done, but I've learned over the years that for many years now that I don't give up on a painting. And it's like life in a way. We can't give up on life.
No, we can't, because we have to keep muddling through it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So all these, while a painting is taking place, there's a lot going on within that person on many levels, from spiritual to emotional to physical. There's a lot that's going on. Yeah.
Debbie Johnson, who's watching, listening, says, even everyone have an appointment with Patrick on Saturday in Glastonbury. Cannot wait.
Oh.
There you are.
Look forward to it, Debbie.
And obviously another important factor is that, you know, not only the download of what you get in the I know I sit there and you draw out this person, and then afterwards, when you've done that all comes from spirit. Then afterwards you get the messages that this picture's trying to portray to the person as well, which is the reading, if you like, if you want to diversely call it something. And that is quite remarkable. Do you know what I mean?
I guess, Clint, in a way, I read the image in a way where it's where someone may read a page full of writing. I kind of writing and words are not my thing. I'm able to work more with them, but I haven't. But it was never my thing in my younger days.
Yeah.
And it was so the image is kind of like, it's like a page full of writing.
Yeah.
And even how it's positioned on everything is trying to tell me something in its dynamics of color, shape, brush strokes, where it's positioned, what is going on. So even though we have a finished picture, there's also a lot more that's going on within the picture.
Wow.
And we kind of put that together so I have to kind of translate that in a way into a logical message for that person. Regarding their pathway, if you like. So it's like decoding a way.
Yeah, it is. And all of us here are trying to pick up pieces of our past, present, and future.
Yes, absolutely.
And pictures are really important. Words are important, but pictures are really important as well, because, you know, I'm sure you've had people that you sat down with that have been slightly skeptic or whatever.
Yeah.
And they sat down and you've done this picture and you give it to them and say, look, this is whoever you feel it is, and this is the message, and they sit there and they're blown away.
It's kind of, I guess, because it's been many years now doing it, and it's kind of, so I guess I've had, you know, some of it I find quite challenging because there are skeptics that sit down and I guess you kind of like you feel. Yeah, it's a funny old place to sit in, because some of it is out of my control, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you kind of trust. You trust in this something other, and you kind of. But it's got me this far, and I don't always understand it.
It doesn't matter, because it's personal, isn't it? Sometimes
it's personal, and I guess in a way, you know, some of the things that come through for people. Yeah, it can be very mind blowing. It's very interesting, and also it can be it can be focused on the past, because the past could have some dramatic effect that's injurious in now in the present. So it can be at the now, but I kind of guess in some ways the reading kind of goes through this a little bit in most cases anyway, and also other people, because we're all connected.
We're all connected, absolutely. But not only do you do all that and you build houses and God knows what else and do these psychic readings and all sorts, but then what Spirit does is it says, right, we're going to get you a massive great canvas the size of a wall, and I want you to paint something on there.
Yes, in between times.
In between times, where you create the most astounding artwork that comes from obviously places you visited, power animals or guides or teachers that are associated with you or are connected in some shape or form. Beautiful, from animals through to dragons, through to mythical places. It's absolutely phenomenal, your artwork. It really is.
Well, it's kind of it just seems that it's all kind of endless in a way, the messages that kind of and the artwork and I guess I'm, I work with that feeling of trying to grasp an understanding. It's like painting the difference between, you say, a white wolf and a black wolf. They're still wolves, but they carry such different. Well, even the vibration of their own color makes it very, very different in a way. So it's kind of but each one carries this great understanding, and so they're both wolves, but they're very different, and on certain levels. So it kind of brings that aspect. So everything is trying to take me into a different world, if you like.
And of course, even in black, where people associate darkness and everything else, that means there's many colors make a dark. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which means that there is light in dark and there's dark in light.
Absolutely. It creates the the black holds all things. It's all in there. It's just that we cannot absorb. Black is a color that really wants to absorb everything. And so black is an amazing. I see it as a grounding color. It can be associated with with elements of the unknown and fear. But it's linked to power. It's linked to it's the color of mystical. It's magical. It's kind of like, it's such a it carries everything. But as where white will reflect, black absorbs. So there's a message in that in itself.
Yeah, Debbie Johnson, who's coming to see you on Saturday, says, love Patrick's sacred tree paintings. They are awesome. Kiss, kiss.
Yeah, well, the tree painting, I guess the tree paintings came about for a workshop, and because most of us, nearly all of us will relate to a tree.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's kind of like it gives a great foundation for and they've been very popular within the workshops, and they're very magical. They're very spiritual trees.
They are, yeah.
Absolutely.
And they hold great wisdom and knowledge, and they're very grounding because they're rooted in the ground.
All those things, all those things. So it's kind of like it's a great subject to incorporate, or a great foundation, or a doorway to open into a painting with.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and of course, going back to a deck of cards, all of those are original images of what you painted. So there's all this stuff happened in a massive. There's like, once the doorway opened, you had this influx when, bosh, you do all this now. Do you know what I mean? Which you did, and then you thought, then the guidance was, my God, we can do some cards with this.
Well, it actually came from a medium approached me at the Heat, which is a mind, body, and spirit fair. So a medium approached me at the Healing Week because I actually brought out 8 postcards of my work. I couldn't afford no more, if I'm honest. I brought out 8 postcards, and then I brought out another 8, so I had 16. And a medium came up to me who I did not know and said, Patrick, I need to talk to you about these cards. And they were not cards to read; they were just postcards.
Yeah.
And she wanted to know more about them because she actually was using them in development groups.
Yeah.
And she asked me, do I use them at all in that way? And if I did, she wanted to know more. And I said, well, I don't. They're just postcards, gift cards. And she wanted to know if I felt anything or did I have a name to that. And she said that I really, she said, I'm going to give you a message now. And the message is, you need to start working with your own work.
Mm.
You need to work with these. And that's how it came about.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I guess, I was just bumbling along in many ways.
Yeah, but that's when people come that on the path and they say, well, actually, that you need to do this now.
Yes. Yes, and that's the thing I've come to learn. You know, a message can be a message. We have many messages that just get passed on through people around us, and so there's very worldly messages. It's not just like the vision, or the dream. Messages can come very much through a stranger.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll tell you, I could talk to you all night, Patrick. You're an amazing person, and you know, you might even see me on Friday. I might be wandering around that area on Friday.
Well, if I do, it'll be a real pleasure.
I miss seeing everyone. I must admit, it's a shame that we can't all see each other very much at the moment. But I'm sure that will all change, as you say. I mean, you know, it's good you're doing that as well, and you're out there and you're helping people and everything as well. And obviously, you know, we hope that things will change in the other ways as well. And obviously, you know, if people want to get hold of you, they can get hold of you obviously by your website or Facebook, I presume. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Facebook is a big one, and obviously they just put my name into Google, it will come up, and they can go through the website and send a message.
It's a great website, by the way, as well.
Yeah, well, it's something else I'm trying to get my head around, technology, but we're kind of slowly getting there. But if
you live in a lovely place as well.
Yeah, I live in a very, very lovely part of the world. Absolutely, very, very lucky. Very lucky to live in Cornwall.
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I have enormous respect for you because on the circuit, you are a well-known personality, I suppose you would call it. I'm not going to use the word celebrity or things like that, but in your field, you're well-known. In the field, I'm well-known, but I don't know what for. But within the field of what you know, and it's great that you take time out to spend time with us because I always love you coming on the show, Patrick.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure.
I know we might go over old ground sometimes and all sorts, but there's always new people listening. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, and what somebody don't hear, even if they've heard it loads of times, they might hear this time, and it's different.
It's different, very much so. It's the same thing with the workshops and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's all part of that progress in learning and undertaking. Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, in a couple of months' time, we get back on again, Patrick.
Yeah,
that'd be really good. And if anyone, I mean, obviously you can't. I think he's fully booked for the shop Yin and Yang in Glastonbury High Street, where he will be doing psychic artistry and readings and all sorts and that, which I think you're fully booked for, aren't you?
I'm fully booked. There is a day put aside each month to work from now on.
Yeah.
So if that date is that one's full, but there will be others that will be available.
That's fantastic. That's really good. Fantastic. And are you staying up there on Friday in Glastonbury?
No, I shall drive up from Cornwall, do my day, and drive home again. It's a long day, but it's kind of like but it seems to be the way it works for me. Trying to go up there and get on back on the same day.
Well, next time I'm down near Polperra, I'm coming to see you. So,
okie dokie.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much, young man. It's great to have you on, Patrick. And I know everyone loves hearing you speak because you speak loads of words of wisdom. You have a reality check to yourself, and you know this isn't sugar coated. It's just what it is. You know.
It is what it is, and it's kind of like. Yeah, exactly. We're all learning. We're all trying to get through this life in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
And you know what's a great thing is that doing this show is about bringing people like you out, so people that aren't aware of what you do. It's about again education. That's why I have lots of spiritual people on this show. But to give them a voice, they're out there. They can say what they do, what they feel, how they feel about things, and all sorts. Some more controversial than others. Some are just in a zone of that we just need to do these things, basically. You know, and that's what it's about. Because, you know, there's nowhere out there there's no radio or television that you would go on, is there? Because
No.
they wouldn't take it serious.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
that's right.
that's why we're here.
It's great. Absolutely.
And in future, from next week on, the next time you come on, we will be on split screen, so we'll be able to see you as well if you want to do
Wow.
that.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Look forward to that.
All right. Thank you very much, Patrick. You've been absolutely brilliant, and we will speak soon.
Well, thank you, Clint, and thank to all the listeners. And you all take care. Bless you now.
No worries. Thanks a lot, Patrick.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Absolutely amazing, Patrick Gamble. All the way from Cornwall. He is in Glastonbury. He's coming up to Glastonbury at the end of the month, end of this week. Linda Bassett says, brilliant interview, popular cards, and so interesting. Yes, there's so many people. Patrick Gamble, you say that word and people know who he is because he's extremely good at what he does. So yes, look forward to him coming on the show next. As I said there, what's coming is big changes to this show, where we'll be on a much more stable. There's some in the background. Very hard to make this happen. Where we will be simultaneously broadcasting from Facebook Live, YouTube, and Instagram, and whatever else we can. And guests to come on to be seen as well, and put their websites and things on there as well. So it's all about where you not just look at me, but we look at the person as well. So that'd be really good. Right now we have got young Mags on the phone. Now Mags is a lovely Scottish lady who is with somebody called Murray. They are lovely people. She's going to get a sword out and poke it up my arse if I'm not careful, because I haven't got over to see it yet. Hello, Mags.
Hi, Clint. How are you?
I'm very well. I know we've chatted via Messenger, and I know I've been promising for the last 3 weeks to come and see you, but I will make that happen. I promise you.
Yeah, please do. Look forward to having you here.
Yeah. Mags is a very spiritual being, as we all are in lots of ways, but she had a dream with Murray, and that was to create a retreat, a workshop space, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And it's somewhere where I'm going to do some drumming and bits and pieces as well later on. But it's a lovely, lovely place, and it's great to have you on again, Mags, as well, because this is a massive transformational new thing for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I should maybe say what our story is.
Yes.
For anybody
Sorry. Yeah.
Murray, my husband, was diagnosed with kidney cancer 2012. We were living in the Middle East at the time, and he had his kidney out, and then the cancer progressed to his lungs and abdomen. So he was literally terminal. They wanted to do chemotherapy, but coming from a spiritual point of view, there was absolutely no point of doing chemo, because it was just going to prolong. It's just going to prolong his life for, well, a shitty quality life, isn't it, really, when you're terminal. So he had the terminal cancer diagnosis, and he cured it doing several things, diet, meditation, rest, exercise, and we did a lot of spiritual sessions together. Myself and my friends did lots of spiritual sessions on him, and lots came out of that, of what he had to do in order to beat the cancer. So 2018, unrelated incident, he ended up in intensive care in Dubai, where we were living, and really didn't think he was going to pull through, but pulled through that. And a few weeks after that, went for another scan, and the cancer had gone from his abdomen, from his lungs.
Wow.
Everything had gone. So it made us realise, we need to share this with other people who are going through diseases, terminal cancer, like Murray was, because it really messes with your head when you get a terminal diagnosis. Any cancer diagnosis is terrible, because your immediate thought is you're going to die. And terminal cancer diagnosis when you start believing the doctors, you start.
Well, you're almost signing a death warrant, aren't you? When you start believing it.
Yeah, people start believing what doctors tell them, and if a doctor tells you you're going to die and you're terminal, you believe it, and you think, oh my God, and living in the Middle East it's not the best thing. It's not the best news to hear living in the Middle East. No. Certainly as a woman with children, when the law dictates that your children will go to your father-in-law or brother-in-law and not to you, as with our house and all the rest of our possessions. So it wasn't the best news from that point of view either. So we said we wanted to share what we've learned and how Murray cured himself with other people. So outside Glastonbury, where we want to open a retreat, which is what we're in the middle of trying to achieve.
And how is that going?
Yeah, well, as you know, at the moment we're working on our main house to live in, so we're hoping we'll be in that. Well, I'd like to say the end of September, might be October. We've built a cabin, which I know
it's a fantastic cabin as well. I've been in it.
Yeah, the cabin. The idea for the cabin will be, I think it's about 10 by 8 meters, 10 meters by 8 meters, something like that. The idea with that is that will be where we can do sessions. I'll do one-to-one sessions with people, and meditation. It'll be a meditation space. A big part of Murray's recovery was meditation and doing a retreat and stuff in Sri Lanka himself. So that'll be part of the healing. And then we've built a little pod as well for accommodation. And that'll be the basis of it. That'll be the start of it. And then we will grow it from there.
Absolutely. And it's in such a beautiful place because you've got such a lot of ground there as well. And look, I mean, obviously I met you both and done readings with you and all sorts. And originally you came over to Castle Kerry, where that's when you first met me, and he rang me and said, "You got to come to my house. You got to come and see us." And all sorts and that. And that was the night where I was on with Linda.
That's right. Yeah.
Doing Linda Bassett doing mediumship, which was an astounding night. And we went over and there was a connection, and
yeah, absolutely, there's absolutely a connection with you because I've been to these, doing a lot of spiritual stuff. I used to go to these kind of nights quite frequently to get a reading, but you know what it's like. The more you progress, the more you think, well, I don't really need to go to these things because I get the messages myself. But my friend was over from Dubai, and she was like, well, I don't like these things either, but we felt we had to go to it. And Linda was on first and you were on, and we said, like, we'll sit at the back, and if the first person is rubbish, we'll just leave. But of course, the first person was Linda. We thought, oh, actually, she's quite good. Let's just stay.
Yeah. And then I came on. I was rubbish.
No, absolutely
no,
absolutely not.
No.
So and there was just, as soon as she started speaking to people, both of us just knew that he needs to work at our retreat. He needs to be at the retreat.
That's lovely.
And for me, there was just a connection there with you that you need to be part of this.
Yeah, I agree, and it's really lovely. And coming there, sharing your space, and meeting Murray, and obviously talking to him and helping him and everything. It's been lovely. He's a lovely guy, Murray, and he's very unassuming in what he's gone through. Yeah. But my God, nobody likes the word cancer. It's not, we all have it, obviously, and it can be started and triggered by things. It's only this week that it was the radio presenter, James Whale, who overcome cancer 20 years ago. His wife died of cancer, and now he's been diagnosed with 3 lots of cancer himself again. And he was thinking about going for euthanasia over in Switzerland or wherever it is, but he's decided he's going to fight it, which is good. Look, everything is about. Now I know, obviously, you're not going to go in detail what you did to combat that, but obviously a lot of it is about mind. It's about mind. It's about what space you're in and where you're going and what you're going to create, because it is about the old saying, mind over matter. And in a way, it is mind over matter, because we can wake up and be the most negative people in the world, not achieve anything, or we can wake up and think, well, we're going to wake up as if we're on drugs. Wow, it's another day and it's great, it's fantastic. But we wake up and think, let's give it a go again. I'm really feeling it. And obviously, the immense satisfaction and also adrenaline rush that you must have from what happened there, because it's a massive, it's something out of the realms of what we understand within inside ourselves as what normal life is, when we're utilizing abilities that are outside of our human known existence to actually use it to, through the core elements of our own understanding, belief, and everything inside ourselves, to actually combat and to change ourselves. Everything is about change. It's not about giving up. In a moment when you're diagnosed with something like that, people say, "Oh God, well that's it then," you know. But it's not. It's about how much, you know. Everything we do in life is a test, and you know, these are tests, and some are very, very hard and very difficult. But we have to make the right choice, and the right choice is that, you know, we stand and we try and combat it in whatever way we can.
I think that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, I think people with cancer, they don't think they have a choice.
No.
They think, you know, they think you're diagnosed with terminal cancer. You think there is no choice. You think your only choice is you're going to die, and then there is no other option. But Murray is living proof that there is another option.
Yeah.
That it's something you can try. And the best diagnosis he could have had was terminal cancer. If it was just stage 1 or stage 2 cancer, maybe he would have considered chemo. I don't know. But he didn't. I mean, because we talked about it, and all I kept seeing was a big black cross, and, you know, on the side of a bleach bottle. That's all we kept seeing. Was, I said, you cannot have cancer. You cannot have chemo.
No.
Because if you have chemo, I keep seeing this black cross.
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it at all if I had it. I wouldn't have it. Because it can't be any good pumping yourself full of radiation.
No. I mean, I do believe everybody has choice. And if some people want to choose to go down the chemo
absolutely
route, that's fine for them. For us, and I've told the kids, anything happens to you, you do exactly what your dad did. And not even just cancer, I'm talking about other diseases and stuff as well, which can be cured and helped, at the very least, by diet, meditation, rest, spiritual sessions. You know, there's other options out there. And just go back to what you said about mental capacity and stuff. Absolutely, I believe 100% all diseases are started mentally. They're started for Murray. It was quite clear in the first sessions I did with him that his disease was started psychologically. It wasn't related to his environment. It was related from stress. His disease was caused by stress and by you know, mental health issues and stuff that had happened in the past that he just had not dealt with. That had just come to the surface now.
Snowballed.
He had a choice. He had a choice, and I think that's what happened with 99% of people. That there's something there, but you just need to know how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
There is a way out. There is a way out.
Yeah, because technically we have the ability to heal anything within inside ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
And I know my cousin over here, he would say this, but the fact is that, you know, everything, if whatever's wrong with us, there is a cure on this planet. Now, whether that's a combination that we change diet and we do all sorts of different things and we start to eat things we didn't eat and all sorts, you know, that is there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You know, diet has got a huge part to play in a lot of it. And part of Murray's journey at the start, when he was diagnosed, there was a guy who worked beside him, a Malaysian man, who cured himself of terminal cancer. He had stomach cancer, had part of his stomach removed. He'd had chemo and radiation, and then he went back for scans 3 months later, and they said, "Look, we're sorry, it's spread everywhere." And they gave him 6 months to live. Now, what he went away and did was diet, and he went on a plant-based diet, and lo and behold, 3 months later, he was completely clear. I mean, I think that was about 2011. So that was before Murray, and here we are 9 years later, and he's absolutely fine, back to normal diet again, and fitting well.
Wow.
So that was the start of the story for Murray, when there was someone working beside him who had cured himself.
Yeah.
And we just,
but this must have been an incredibly bonding experience for both of you in going through this, because this, I would think, you know, even this is a terrible thing that he had to go through, but with you, it probably actually brought out more of your spiritual self into play.
Yeah, it did, because I mean, I started off, years ago, about 15 years ago, doing Reiki. But what I do now is not Reiki. I don't know what you call it. I've got a guy I do sessions with.
It's maganism.
Yeah. The guy I do sessions with in the States calls himself an energy dancer, and I thought, you know what, I like that.
That is good, energy dancer. I like that.
Energy dancer, that's a really good one. So I thought, yeah, that's what I do. Because a lot of what I do now is more shamanism.
Yeah.
And there's Reiki in there, and there's all sorts. There's visualizations, all sorts of stuff. But that, part of that was Murray's healing as well. So I want to pass that on as well to other people who would do the retreat. So, and what I've also done in lockdown is written a book.
I know, I've seen that. That is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What is it called?
I'm not sure. I've not got a title as yet. I've finished the book. I finished the first draft.
Okay.
And so Murray's now doing, because I thought he needs to have an input in this since it's about him. So he's got input, so he still has a bit to write. I've finished all my part. So I'm 75,000 words in.
Wow. Brilliant.
Yeah. So he's got his part to write, and it's literally, I mean, I just got the message. I had to write a book. I just had to write a book, and it has to go hand in hand with the retreat.
Yeah.
So that when people come to the retreat, they know our story, they know Murray's story, they know what we did, and they'll know what we can do for them and how we can help them. Yeah. I mean, at the very least, we can give people hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And your retreats, I know you work in the house, the retreats coming on. I mean, the back of your house is absolutely phenomenal. It goes a long way back. You can put teepees up there and all sorts, and it goes into woods and everything. It's absolutely amazing. It really is.
It's such a lovely spot, and the deer come down every couple of days. The deer are down in the garden. There's pheasants that come down. Come October time, we have loads of pheasants. Yeah, the animal and the wildlife here is phenomenal. It's about 3.5 acres is what we're on. So, as you say, back onto woodlands and stuff. So, it's such a nice space.
I'm really looking forward to doing some work there. I really am, because it's going to be absolutely immense and amazing. And realistically, it's in lots of ways it's based on shamanic principles.
Okay, if you say so. I don't know. I have no idea. I get the message of what I have to do, and I think, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a joint effort in relation. I mean, I know Murray was there. He had all that, and 7 or 8 years later, he's there and he's putting up a whole cabin. And I mean, it's phenomenal. It really is. And I know that we're a little way off of it yet, because it's going to take a little while yet. But in lots of ways, with what we've had recently with COVID and all that and everything, I mean, it would have been very difficult to even open, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's all in the timing. I mean, part of Murray's journey was, what I kept hearing in my head was, he has to leave Dubai. He just has to leave his job in Dubai if he wants to get completely well. So we were looking at exit strategies of, right, how do we leave? Because obviously I've got 2 kids. So looking at strategies of how do we get out and where do we go? I mean, we've lived 15 years in the Middle East, so it's like, well, where do we go from there? So really from there on, it was looking at different places of, what we can do and where we can do it. And when this place came up, it was just, well, I had seen what it looked like before we bought it, before it was even in the market.
Yeah.
I had a vision of what the place looked like. And when my friend and I had done sessions together, and she had seen exactly the same vision. So when the property was up for sale and I came to look at it, I had this list of, oh my God, it's got that and it's got that. It was just all these elements. I thought, this is the house. This is the house. It didn't look like how I thought it was going to look, but it had every single element. Just even stupid things like there's a small archway above a door, and I thought, I was thinking like an old sandstone building with a huge archway. No, it was a shitty little bit of wood that was made into an arch across the front door, and I thought, okay, that's not quite the arch I saw, but that's the arch.
Yeah.
It was just all the elements were there. That we saw that there was a shitty greenhouse in the back garden that was completely knackered. And of course, when I got here, there was an old washing machine in the greenhouse. It was all smashed in, and I thought, Yeah, there's the greenhouse.
Because there's a lot of outbuildings there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got a stable block that we want to convert as well. That'll be a bit down the line, I think. But yeah, that would be nice to do. So yeah, that would, because I think part of it for us would be there'd be treatment rooms in there.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do a sauna in there as well, because I like we like the whole going from hot to cold. You know these.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and to get that.
Yeah.
The cold, so you know, like plunge pools and stuff. So for us, it's definitely about you do the hot, you do the cold. So yeah, we'd like to do that. I think that could be slightly further down the line.
Yeah.
But we're getting there. You know, the pod's built, the cabin's built. Needs a little bit of finishing, but we need to get into our main house so that we actually have somewhere where we can live. Yeah. You know, in the meantime.
Well, it sounds ideal because it doesn't sound it's very far away. You know, at end of September. I know. You know, we're end of August, but it's only a month away, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the hands of the gods, aren't I, really? And, you know, I'm trusting them 100% that this is what I've been told about to do, so this is what I'm doing. You know, and Murray couldn't do without me, and I couldn't do without him. Yeah. So it works really well.
It's immense. It's immense, powerful duo. And you know, I mean, I've been there. The energy between yourselves is just amazing. And you know, it's a place where you sit down, you have a cup of coffee, you don't really want to go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just, the energy is just so embracing.
That's exactly it. It's the energy in the place. Unfortunately, the workmen, they don't want to leave either.
Yeah.
Because
well, you don't want them to leave. You want them to work round the clock.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if only, but they like to talk. There's certain energy spots in the whole on the land. You know, there's one in the pod, there's one in the cabin, there's one in the house, and there's a certain energy spot in each of them, which gives you, there's an intense energy in that area, and that is the areas where they always stand and they always start talking, and you think, oh my God, they're never going to stop talking now. Yeah. And immediately we think they're in that energy spot. That's exactly why they're not leaving, and just like, right, you can go now. But it's not even relevant stuff. They just start. It's like they start to open up and they just start telling us everything. Yeah. It would be the first time people have started telling us their problems on the way out the door. Yeah. I think that where it sits is nice as well, because it's just a little way out of Glastonbury. Glastonbury's very nice, but it's nice to be on the outskirts, in the periphery of Glastonbury, really. Yeah. And you're not far down the road. You've got a very sacred place, Compton Dundon. Yeah, that's not that far. No, which is really, really nice place. And I know you go the other way. You got Somerton, which used to be the capital once. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a nice area. We're definitely blessed to have found this. I mean, we do feel very blessed anyway. We feel blessed that he had terminal cancer. And I know some people probably think, God, she's absolutely mad. No, but it is about the change, isn't it? Because we make choices. I mean, I say this to every time to people. We make choices when we're given issues or problems or hills to climb. We have to look at it, not look at the problem, but look at the solution. Look at what's needed to change the situation. This is the problem with people today. A lot of people don't or can't look at the change. They're in something and they think, oh, well, this is it. You know, and it's not, because look, if you really wanted to, mate, you can go and fly jumbo jets if you wanted to, if that's what you really wanted to do, and you do it. Do you know what I mean? And we have that choice, and our souls here at this time is very grounded in relation to the reality we're in, where we signed up to be here at this time, you know, with all this going on around us. But in lots of ways, you know, like yourself there, like myself, even like tonight, we're not even talking about COVID-19 very much anymore, because you get bored with it after all. Not because it's not there, but because, you know, there's so many other things to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, the COVID thing's just all about fear. To me, of course it is. Absolute fear-driven. And I can't listen to that for too long, because it's just actually just drains your energy, and my energy is much more needed on the project than listening to that. I started this show saying that Boris Johnson was on a holiday with all these terrible things going on, and the kids' results and everything else, and he went camping up in Scotland
And he went camping in a farmer's field where him and Carrie and their little boy Wilfred and their dog Dylan all climbed over a 3-foot fence and camped illegally. Can you believe it? Can you believe that?
Because it's Boris. I couldn't believe it. It's Boris. You could believe anything.
I know. I mean, I know if he was running in the field, you could probably mistake him with his hair as a sheep.
What, somebody comes out with a gun and shoots them?
Anyway, we have to go, unfortunately, Max. But look, I promise you, very soon, I will be coming to see you both. Be really good.
Yes, please do. It'll be great to see you.
No, I need to, and it'll be really good. We can have a chat about what's going to happen, what you're going to be doing, and stuff like that. So, and everything is about learning. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No, that's all right. And if anyone wants to catch hold of you, they can catch you on Facebook, can't they?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Max Cluley. They're welcome to look me up and send me a message. You know, if anybody wants any advice or if they want any healing sessions or stuff.
Or any knowledge about how to buy the book when it's out there or anything like that as well. And obviously, I mean, we're going to get you on well before that again anyway, because, you know, once you join this family, it grows and grows and we get you back on because, you know, we've been there on the journey as when you bought the place to where you are now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's lovely. I love it. It's great.
All right, Max. Thank you very much. Give my regards to Murray and your family, and I'm so glad it's all going well. I'm so glad you're reading a book as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it'll just go hand in hand, and it gets it all out, and it's quite cathartic, isn't it? Writing.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. It's massively clearing, massively healing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
I will come and see you soon. I promise.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm going to hold you to that.
Yes, definitely. You nag me.
I'm going to back to you now.
All right, Max. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Clint.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Bye. Bye. What a lovely lady. There's Max. Absolutely phenomenal. Amazing lady. With Murray, the story is phenomenal. They wrote a book about it. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a massive seller, I'll tell you. And they're building a retreat at the moment in a lovely, beautiful place, which I know will be absolutely immense. And to be able to go there and do some drumming bits and pieces would be phenomenal. I do believe this person is brand new to the Inview. This is going to be Mr. Grant Hicks, who was trying to get hold of us while we were on the phone there. I hope you're all enjoying the show out there. Don't forget, this is Clint Daniel in the Inview. Every Sunday, we bring together a plethora of guests of all walks of life to talk about their spiritual journeys, talk about themselves, talk about whatever they want to talk about, basically. And we should have, hopefully, Grant Hicks. Hello, Grant.
Hello, Clint. You okay?
How are you? I've never spoken to you, Grant. I know we message each other, but it's lovely to speak to you, young man.
Yeah, lovely to speak to you too.
And I know you're prolific and busy. I know I didn't even mention about the fact that you have a spiritual community on Facebook, don't you?
I've got psychic and spiritual awakening communities, and I've also got my own psychic medium page as well.
Well, I didn't even write any of that in my intro. You know, and people think Grant Hicks, is that the same Grant Hicks?
Can't get the staff, can we?
No, I know. I'll shoot my researchers. But it's lovely to have you on. Thank you very much. I know it's a bit last minute I asked you, but
okay.
It's fantastic to have you on. So, I mean, for people out there, if you'd like to enlighten what you do, what you are, what you're about, I know you're a truth seeker, and you know, just sell yourself for 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Sell myself.
Well, not literally, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm a qualified hypnotherapist, and I specialise in past life regressions. I take people back to who they were in their past lives. I run online workshops for people all over the world, America, Australia, here, even India, believe it or not. And so we have a lot of fun, taking them all back to their different experiences. Also take them back to meeting their loved ones that have passed, which is very, very powerful. And yeah, as you say, I run a psychic spiritual awakening community on Facebook page and a group. and a psychic medium page where I do like live readings, which I'll be doing live readings straight after this at
Wow.
about 9ish, really. Yeah, and
You're a
when you
very
say-
busy man, I know, because
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
your posts you got on there. I mean, you're progressive as well, because, you know, when I say progressive, because, you know, you have a truth inside yourself that really links
right.
in with mine and many other people
Yeah.
in the spiritual community, of a load of old crap that we're actually fed by people that realistically shouldn't be there.
Well, I do tend to. I was going to say piss people off. I'll say upset people.
I mean, you can swear on air. It's all right. That's okay.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I do get messages from people saying, "Right, you're pissing a lot of mediums off. You're pissing a lot of spiritual people off." And it's like, well, my spirit's upsetting their demons, then, isn't it?
I totally agree. Agree. I mean, the problem is, you know this as well, Grant, because you've been around quite a while. I don't mean that as it sounds.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been doing this 40 odd years, and you know, the spiritual community has grown. My basis is a shaman, and when I started on that journey, there's only about 8,000 sites. Now there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of sites. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know as well as I do, it's a money machine. We never really talk about it, but you know, true spiritual belief in what we do in helping people comes from an innate desire to want to help as many people as possible in whatever way you can, whether that's bringing stuff from the past, looking at the future, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, unfortunately, we are surrounded by so many fraudulent people. And those are the ones that carry the demons, because they're not really what they are.
But also, they've got very good marketing system behind them.
They have, yeah. Do you know one of the worst? I used to have a shop in Glastonbury called Moon Mirrors, and one of the worst of the worst, I would say, is a magazine called Kindred Spirit and the Mind, Body and Spirit festivals that they do.
Oh, yeah.
They're so off the radar, egotistic crap. You've never heard anything like it. Do you know what I mean? No, it is. It really is.
No, I completely agree.
You know, it's way beyond people's budgets. And, you know, these are people doing readings for stupid money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It is getting ridiculous out there. I mean, I get people saying to me, where can I go to learn tarot to earn money? It's like, what? What are you on about?
Sorry, that's hilarious. Where can I?
Ask me that.
Well, you just go to Glastonbury, buy some cards, and you sit down and tell them any old rubbish you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But you get found out, and you know, you play with spirit, you play with fire.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be finding out the hard way, because I don't think the spirit world or universe is going to put up with it for much longer.
No, they won't.
But there's a big energy change coming in,
and a lot of that universe is very connected to what I would say past life, as well as extraterrestrial information that we carry inside ourselves, because none of us are actually from this planet. We're only visiting.
That's right. Everything. So I'm also a trance medium, so I get guides or extraterrestrials talk through me.
That is brilliant.
People, and it's phenomenal. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Wow.
I did do some training years ago, but what I found was with a lot of the training that they wanted you to be a cardboard cutout of them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know.
They didn't want you to express your inner self
or make your mark on it.
Yeah,
it had to be exactly the same.
Yeah. And if you didn't do that, they'd put you down.
Yeah. I had that when I did my shamanic courses, which were in London and Denmark. And the tutor, I'm not going to name the tutor or even the group, but his shamanism was the shamanism. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And there was no other shamanism apart from what he told you. And you know, I had a lot of arguments with him. Yeah. You know, I didn't agree a lot of the time with a lot of things because it was too tunnel vision. Yeah. But I'm sure, like you've had many experiences way back that you then thought that, well, you're probably sitting between worlds, to be honest, because you would have a lot of paranormality go on around you. I mean, I had 5 beings come to me when I was 3 years old. When I did my first shamanic course, I was in a group of 30 people in a big hall in Kew, and we did a lot of drumming and rattling and bringing out a soul song. And before you know it, I'm standing in front of a guy opposite me, a long way away, singing a very ancient Native American Indian song, and he's saying the next line back to me. you know,
Wow.
when you have things like that happen, you start thinking this is too big
Yeah.
for me not to
Yeah.
not to do something with, because that
Yeah.
it's a the I don't like the word gift. It's a blessing that we carry, that we everyone has the ability as well. That's the
That's
key.
right. That's it. Yeah.
You know, I'll stop talking, let you talk. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's right. But what I'll find out at the moment, Clint, that you may find the same as well, is that I do believe there's a kind of a psyop going on
Oh, yeah.
in a spiritual
Yeah.
realm with all
Yeah.
this love and light stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, if people are very genuine about it, but some people just use that as a cover of their, narcissistic ego.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about psyop, but we all know MK Kids and mind control experimentation. We've got it in our lives every day. You put TV on, there's mind control experimentation going on.
That's right.
That people believe in. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm going to talk about COVID. I wasn't going to tonight, but COVID, in my eyes, a lot of people wouldn't agree with me. I think it's a load of old bollocks, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yes, there is something out there. Yes, it's very bad, but we have that every year. You know, and then people say, no, it's far worse than that. Well, people that have other outlining illnesses or whatever get affected by seasonal flu, and unfortunately people die. But I've said before, you've got to be real about it. If nobody died, we would, well, I wouldn't be able to talk to you because my room would be full of people.
Well, that's right.
And
there'd be dead bodies in the streets. There'd be, But the thing is, Clint, it's very basic stuff. That
yes, it is.
If there was such a danger to the whole human race, one, they would be out on the streets giving us masks, and that for free. It'd all be for free. Everything would be for free. No companies would have to buy all this shielding. No companies have to pay for that.
Well, they don't. The government can't even buy PPE.
Well, that's it. It's all being siphoned off, isn't it? We know that.
It's a load of rubbish.
Their buddies.
And I mean, Matthew John was talking about Agenda 21 earlier on. Which people think you talk out your bottom, basically.
Yeah.
When you say, well, actually, there is an agenda to get rid of 95% of the population. That's a load of rubbish. No, we allow that. But the fact is, because you're not looking at it, you're one that's allowing it straight away.
Well, that's right. Exactly right. As I said, I put my group the other day, I said, well, turning away from it doesn't make it go away.
No. Burying your head in the sand doesn't mean that, it's not there anymore. It just means
I said,
you're
so
actually...
What you're doing, they're going to allow just a few of us to take the can and try and fight it while they're all sitting there cowering, watching the telly and waiting for their next order.
Yeah. And what I don't like is I haven't spoke about it on this show because it's absolutely disgusting, but it is very much part of the very dark black arts agenda on this planet, which is almost trying to make it legal to be a paedophile, which basically they want shooting. That's what they want.
Of course they do. But that's what this whole COVID agenda is, to cover all that up.
Of course it is.
That's what it is, really. It's a mass distraction.
Yeah, of course it is.
Distraction.
Which I mean, a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is not a politician for a start. He's a businessman, but at the same time, he also stands up for truth. And to a degree, there has been elements of him doing lots of things to save a lot of people, which is really good. But if people knew what people were really like, what they would do, and that's being seen now. Prince Andrew, Epstein, Weinstein, and the woman that's in custody now, and all sorts. I mean, they're only just the beginning.
Oh, that's a grain of sand in the Sahara.
It goes up far more than that. Far more.
It's in every town, every single town.
Yeah.
Every city. I mean, have you heard of the rains list?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, rain cause a lot of that going on in Hampshire down that way.
Yeah.
Load of it, and it's all police are being called out. Everyone. It's just all of them in positions of perceived authority.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to trust them,
But I am going to do a show very soon on satanic sexual ritual abuse, and I mean, I know it's a heavy subject, but and get some people on to talk about it, because it's got to be talked about, because nobody's really talking about it anywhere. Do you know what I mean? And the internet and Facebook is awash with it.
And I'll tell you something, Clint, that not a lot of people are aware of,
because only if you've experienced it, is the family courts.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not joking you. You have never seen such a corrupt organisation as the family courts. The family courts make more money than all other criminal court, all this sort of courts combined.
Wow.
Right? And because I've been involved in it, it took me 3 years to fight to see my children. And I was fighting paedophiles in my ex-partner's family.
Oh, my God.
And they were covering it all up.
Yeah.
And I had evidence, I had the full works, but the judges were telling me to move on. The judges got aggressive with me. I got locked up in police cells.
My
I've
God.
had, I've had criminal records, but for silly things. But I know full well that a judge who I put a complaint in about got some things changed on there that has really affected things. You know, you go, hold on a minute, where's that come from?
Yeah.
And they can change things, and people think you're paranoid.
Yeah.
So, well, I can't be paranoid. It's in bloody black and white. Look,
Yeah.
I've got it.
Yeah, but they can if they want to screw you to the ground, they can make anything up. They can make anything up.
Well, that's what they do. They go in for the asset grabbing, because I used to have 8 houses, 8 properties. I built up a property portfolio over the years for my children, and they completely took all that, destroyed that, and put me in loads of debt.
Yeah. Well, what they wanted to do, not being negative in saying this, but they would want you not to be here.
Well, that's exactly right. No, I know that.
They don't want you to be here to actually be speaking to me right now.
That's exactly the agenda, though. That's it, to take out the strong males.
Yes.
And I've had personal friends that have committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because of the courts.
Yeah.
They've gone. You know, I've been chatting to them in the pub one day and then they're dead the next because they can't handle it anymore. And it's like, and what it was when I was going through it, because as you know, men don't really talk about emotions. They don't want to express. No, I know that. And there's no help for men. There's none. There's loads for women. Actually, untold to women. Nothing for men.
Yeah.
And you're there by yourself thinking, bloody hell, no one knows what is going on.
Yeah.
And then a year down the track and all that, and you look at the bigger picture, you think, well, hold on a minute. There's guys in America saying exactly the same thing as like my ex-partner did in court. There's guys in Australia saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. There's a big agenda here. And then when you look further, he's got the Vatican and the Crown all behind it, giving the orders to all the courts around the world to destroy families.
Yeah.
And then after that goes out into the satanic ritual abuse, because they are, doing rituals in courts, aren't they?
They are, yeah, absolutely, and even worse, worse stuff. I mean, it always amazes me when you've got like the guy in America, Joe Biden, who is the most creepiest, screwed up individual you ever meet. Have you seen the films of him? Blatantly touching children, blatantly touching them.
Yeah.
And the films that we've seen on the internet that nobody talks about. There are films that wash on social media. I've watched one where it made me physically sick. These were high influential people, not well known here, but in their field, standing up. A lot of them were women as well, standing up saying that paedophilia is should be an accepted a seminar.
I know. I'll tell you what. What's been happening so far this year has been one big push test to push people, see how far people are going to be pushed, and you can see them all. You can see the people that stole all the toilet rolls at the beginning of the year because they're wearing a face mask now.
Yeah,
you can see them. They are the same people.
Yeah,
and they're pushing people. And people like you, me, and similar like-minded people can see straight through it.
Yeah.
And go, what is it going to take for you lot to freaking wake up?
I know, because they're brain dead. They're completely, one person buys toilet rolls, everyone must go and buy it, and then everyone buys, £400 worth of food when they only need to buy 50, and they buy extra freezers, put it in, and then it all goes off.
Well, that's it. But the thing is, Clint, being
a hypnotherapist...
They're
sheep. Yeah,
being a hypnotherapist and studying NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it is so easy to see.
Yeah.
The TV, the words, everything, Facebook, everything. You can see it's like, wow. We use NLP for good to rewire people's thought processes, to take them out of negative habits and situations, give them a positive life. It's done in the reverse.
Absolutely.
For the world population.
Yeah, and because it is all about fear. And, the actual Grand Master of dark art sits in number 10 and runs government, which is Dominic Cummings. He is a horrible, nasty, needs horse whipping naked down the streets. That's what he does.
Well, do you know, I can't believe that people are just sitting there and taking it. I mean, yesterday there was a load of demonstrations all over the UK, wasn't there, about it? Even standing outside Buckingham Palace, shouting about pedos, pedos.
Yeah.
So it's getting people angry.
Yeah, but nobody, you see, the thing is, because you know as well as I do, that the world's media, to a degree, is governed by only a small elite amount of people.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which means that you'll never see any of that.
Yeah, you won't know their faces.
No.
You won't know who they are.
No.
But I think the thing parents have to be concerned about is the schools now. Is the schools, when the kids go back to school.
Yeah.
If they start doing the testing and stuff like that, right? Now, I found out something, you may have heard of it, may not have, a thing called Gillick competence.
I haven't heard of that, no.
Okay, it's very important for parents, very, very important. What Gillick competence is, because what's happening, the schools are vaccinating children without the parents' consent.
Really?
Right? Yep.
My
yep.
God.
And because what they're using is Gillick competence. Now, Gillick competence says that, well, we believe your child is Gillick competent, which means they're capable of giving their consent and they don't need your consent.
Right.
Right? Consent under 18. Now, what you could do, or what I've done for my children, is I've flipped it and I've written a letter and I've got them to put their thumbprint on it and say, my children, they're Gillick competent and they do not consent to any testing. They do not consent to any vaccines, blah, blah. And then I've got, I put my name on it. And then I put, yes, I've read the above statement and I agree. And I get my children to put their thumbprint on it.
Yeah.
Saying they're Gillick competent and they're saying they do not consent.
Yeah.
It's because all this stuff is out there. What it is, all the stuff is out there to help us, right? But they don't let us access the information.
No.
Because as you know, it has to be balanced.
Yes.
It has to be balanced. But they're hiding it. They're hiding info. And what we have to do is use their laws, their regulations against them.
Yeah. And we have Matthew John, who been on the show many, many times. He's very on the law as well. Who said earlier on that legislation isn't law. Firstly, legislation is company rules, and the UK is corporation.
That's right. Exactly.
So in every country in the world, floating on the holy sea of commerce, and then he's on about Agenda 21 signed by 178 governments 28 years ago, and that the UK has no more power over our lives than McDonald's. That's right. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And it is consent, and it's just, if a policeman approaches you, it's like, oh, are you coercing me into committing, being commercial? Yeah. Because you're coming to me as a company. Yeah, now, they're literally owned by corporates. I know. And that's, people don't know that. They think the British Bobby is owned by the British people. Yeah. Which it's not at all. No. If you notice on a lot of their uniforms now, they've got a black and white Union Jack. Yes, I have noticed that. They had that in all the other countries, and that's like a UN police force. Yes. It's a worldwide police force. So it's... And people, when you start talking to people like this, they say, no, that's not true, and that never happened. If you said to people 2 years ago that we would be in such a bloody fucking mess, excuse my French, as what we are in this reality now, where they have mind screwed everybody on this planet, and certainly in this country, because we are the most watched people in the world, that people will not know what to do with what they've thrown out in fear with this COVID phony huge wash of rubbish, basically. And then what they do is they screw people up, saying we're now going to lock down this area, but you can come out. It's like people traveling, right? It was last week, I think. On Friday, they said, well, the British government said you must come back by 4 o'clock on Saturday morning, the next day in the morning, so you won't go in quarantine. And people panic, and they're all right, oh my God, and all the reporters go out there and everything. And then, only yesterday they added some to the list, and then they took Portugal off of it. It's like a game of chess. It is. It is. And that's what I put you off. I just had no interest in it whatsoever. It's like, you guys, you crack on. You want to enjoy it and live in fear, you do that. Yes. It's not in my reality. I agree. It isn't in mine. But I'll tell you one thing I don't do is I don't stick my head in the sand. That's why no, that's right. I do. A lot of people say, oh, no, I don't watch the news. I don't watch this. And to a degree, I can understand why they say that. But at the same time, they don't know what rubbish they're putting out there. because behind everything they say, when I watch the news, I watch the story they're not telling you. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
And I'm interested in what garbage they're coming out with that's actually hiding what they really are trying to do. By the way, Debbie Johnson, who's listening, watching, or whatever, I don't know if this is what we said earlier on, but she agreed with you personally. My husband has been through this. Wow. So that I presume that's about what you've been through in the courts and that as well. Yeah. And you know, after a while, this whole thing that we're in becomes so infected with so many other things, because COVID is only a tiny little spot on the landscape in relation to what's going on.
In the mix. It's something else that's thrown in the mix. It's
like I only watched on Al Jazeera today this morning, because news on Saturdays is rubbish anyway. It come out with all sorts of garbage, and it's normally about celebrities. And you notice even COVID's gone down the list in that, in their reporting. But you know, when they do report about it, it's all fear porn. That's what it is. But it had a program there, which is very interesting, which was the politics of South America, all the countries in South America, where pretty much in the last 5 to 6 years, all of the presidents, all of the people have all been got rid of, taken out, not killed, but taken out of office, impeached, and all manner of different things, to put their what they call money-making, very rich corporate people in. Do you know what I mean? And it was quite astounding to watch, to be honest. And it's not something we'd see normally, but you know, if you watch Al Jazeera and RT, they do give a different depiction. You see, it comes right down to the brass roots of centuries ago, where, you know, Europe and the West was, well, not America at the time, but certainly Europe was infested with deceit, lies, and hypocriticism. Centuries ago, before that, America was ruled by Native American Indians. And then white man goes there, lies to him, kills thousands, millions, lies to him, and eventually feeds them drugs, drink, and alcohol, and put them in a little pen, basically, and that's where you live. Disgusting scum.
Then they put smallpox in their blankets. So there we go. We're going to keep you nice and warm. We go, oh, lovely, and kill them off.
Yeah, and then what happens is you get someone like Bill and Melinda Gates, these saviors of the world that actually have nothing but toxicity within their veins.
What they put in the masks.
Well, yeah, precisely. Yeah, but they go to Africa, and then what they do is they use Africa as a live guinea pig.
Yep.
Which they've done for years.
Yep. Oh, yes.
You know, I mean, it goes on and on. It's endless. The things that are going on, and people don't realise it. And even when it's there in front of them, I put stuff on my wall, which I know is really true, and people don't even look at it.
No, they don't. They want to see fluffy kittens.
Yes, because, you know, unfortunately, I'm sorry, but you know this as well as I do. The spiritual world is not tree-hugging fluffy kittens. No, spirituality... There has been a cost in history to spirituality for the people that actually had the understanding and the benefit within inside themselves to take forth their knowledge and wisdom, and they went through all enormous punishment for it. But it's not all fluffy kittens and tree hugging, because this new age philosophy is crap. To be honest, it's rubbish. It's like the New Testament. Well, it's rubbish. It's like New Age rubbish.
I'll tell you what they need. They need to do some ayahuasca ceremonies.
Yeah, they do. And then they need to go out in the middle of the woods for a weekend with just water and do a vision quest on their own in a tent. Dense wood. Then what they do in the middle of the night, they wake up, meet themselves.
That's it. Yeah. And this is what a lot of people don't want to do.
No, they don't.
They don't want to look within. They really don't, because they're frightened of what they'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? But we have to do it. We have to do it. You know, because that's the only way you can understand who you are.
Absolutely. And the problem is there is a lot of people that don't understand what they are. And when you get all these mediums or psychics to say, well, you're upsetting people, Grant, we're doing what you're doing, all sorts. Well, I'm really sorry about that, mate. But actually, this is, everyone can say it's my truth, But
Yeah.
you know, you're a truth seeker, and you hold, you know, a truth within inside yourself. Now, I know that a lot of what we get is information by other people, but it's also about research. I went around the world doing talks about all sorts of weird and wonderful subjects, but I researched and researched and researched. And you know, it comes down to what you know, the instinct you know inside yourself, Grant. You know, like COVID started, and the first thing I thought, that's a load of rubbish.
You know it. It's just no. It's called.
You know, it's rubbish.
Yeah, clear knowing, clear sentience. Yeah, you know it straight away.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
It's a vibrational thing. You can feel the frequency and vibration of words of other people.
Yeah.
And you know it's a lie. You know it straight away. It's like, oh, we know you're lying. You know we know you're lying.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because
listen, the Romans, sorry, Bargin, the Romans never left.
No.
Right?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
And they've carried on, and it's like we're still at war with the Romans.
Mm.
You know, and like where you get the Great Fire of London, and it's like, well, they just wanted to burn all those buildings down and put their mark on it, and that's where you get the City of London.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's, and you look, there's a lot of great fires. There's Great Fire of Chicago. There's great fires of everywhere. Alexandria, all over the place. You know.
Yeah, Alexandria that destroyed an immense knowledge, wisdom library that existed there.
Yeah, stole it all.
Yeah.
Stole
Completely.
It all in the Vatican vaults. You know?
Yeah, of course it is.
Like,
Everything sits in the Vatican vaults.
But it's the thing I have a problem with is that, you know, you get these people saying, oh, we've got extraterrestrials helping us, we've got this, that, and the other. Well, I think they better show themselves now, then, shouldn't they?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'll
tell you something. I said this many times, and I've probably said it many times on here. The West is filth, to be honest. The West is not clean. And it's run, and we all know, because, I mean, I researched, you probably know yourself, you know, forget about bloody, what's it, out in the desert in 1947, Roswell. You know, the fact is that extraterrestrials of a very dark, and there's very many varieties of them, are in the West, in underground installations, and are out in the public. So much so that they've been captured on film and pictures, and that they're not very good at actually putting on their human clothes. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's a bit false and bit doesn't fit properly. But you know, one of the things I say this all the time, people, and this is where what we're told and what we're sold in reality is absolute bloody garbage, because where the extraterrestrials that are we want to see, these extraterrestrials are in the East. Now, some of the extraterrestrials that are extremely good, that are here to save the planet, all sorts, actually sit underneath the ground in Russia. Now, all we get from Russia is that there's this big Cold War, and it's terrible, and it's this, and it's that, and you know, I've got friends that have been out to Russia. They had the best holiday of their life. They went out their Christmas markets, amazing, lovely people, really good. Yes, they have KGB, like CIA and whatever in America, like NSA and MI5 or MFI or whatever the bloody called here in England. But you know, the picture that's portrayed is not a true one. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's the same as in Egypt. I've been out there several times.
Yeah, fantastic country. I've been there a couple of times.
And I went there, and I was in one of the minibuses. I think I was going down to Luxor. And a car went past, and it had a great big Christian fish symbol in the back window. Great big one. I went, oh, my God. And I went, what? I said, well, there's a Christian fish symbol there. They went, yeah, and? I said, well, you know, does that not upset you guys, you Muslims and whatever? I went, no. He said, you've got to remember, first of all, we are Egyptian. Then we're 85% Muslim, 15% Christian, but beyond that, we are all Egyptian. Yeah. So you've got to stop reading your newspapers, your Western press.
Yeah.
You know?
But the biggest problem in the world, and this is why the extraterrestrials, well, they show themselves in the sky, and at times, I mean, I went on holiday in Cyprus, and I came very close to extraterrestrial beings and ships and all sorts of things. But a long time ago. But we live in a time where, you know, the image like Nigel that's by me here on the thing, with the dark almond eyes and all sorts, the grey. I mean, they were pumping that so hard not that many years ago that I was expecting to wake up one morning and expect one of them to be a grey reading the news. Do you know what I mean? And people wouldn't really notice it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when people say no, well, they wouldn't do that, and they're not like this, and you know, this trust that people have, it's so ridiculous. Look, it's not a case that we must challenge everything, but it is a case that we must use our judgment and intuition within inside ourselves by what you do in past life information, because we are the end result of everything we've been.
Yeah, I mean, last year, one of my workshops, one of the physical workshops, one of the guys there, he was actually being abducted right there and then in front of us.
Wow.
Right? Because I said, like, well, there's a method I use called a time corridor. Take them back.
Yeah.
They go through a door and they come out wherever they're coming out. And I say, right, what's on the floor? What's the floor made of? Like, to ground them?
Yeah.
And he's going, oh, it's a bright light. It's a bright light. It's a bright light. I said, well, what is it then? I said, what's the ground made of? Oh, I'm lying down. What are you lying on? It's metal. I thought, and being psychic and tuning in, I thought, oh no, he's on a metal slab.
Yeah.
Right, okay, right, it's on a metal slab, and it's going. They're hiding in the shadows. So I could tune in to where he was, and he was on a craft, and I could see these little beings hiding in the shadows.
Yeah.
I said, and he was terrified. I said, well, I'm with you now. I'm with you now. I said, there's no need to be terrified of them. I said, why do you think they're hiding in the shadows? Because they're scared of you.
They're scared of you, yeah.
Because you've got so much light around you and love around you. They're terrified. I said, tell them to piss off.
Yeah.
Go on, tell them to piss off. Anyways, they did that and come back. That night, he called me about, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning. There's a missed call. I saw it Sunday morning. And his phone, I said, Grant, you're not going to believe this. Because after the workshop, I went home. I got up about 1 o'clock in the morning to go to the toilet, come back, laid on the bed. He said, then there's a bloody extraterrestrial standing right next to me. He said, I thought I might have been tripping or something. So he got his phone out, put it on, and shone the phone to this being, and it turned its head.
Yeah.
He said, it turned its head, Grant. It turned its head. So it was there. And then he said he was spinning around on his bed for about 45 minutes, right, spinning round and round. He said, I wasn't sick or anything. I didn't feel sick, but I know I was spinning round, and then it was gone. You know? So these things are happening.
They are, yeah, and they are. And a lot of people think because you will be bamboozled and all sorts, people don't come out and talk about it. And, you know, you have to look at the percentage. I mean, it's something like 89 to 90% of people believe that extraterrestrial life are here on this planet.
Yeah.
And walking among us. And they are.
I'll tell you now they are, because another one of my friends years ago, she was up in Piccadilly, and I was talking about aliens years ago, and everyone took the piss. Everyone's like having a joke. Oh, Grant's talking about aliens again. Anyway, she phoned me up in a panic, said, Grant, I'm in Piccadilly. Oh, my God, I don't know who else to tell. I was just about to cross this road, and this guy turned and looked at me, and his eyes blinked sideways.
Yeah.
Right? But then she said, he saw that I saw his eyes blink sideways, and he done it again.
Yeah.
And then just smiled and turned and walked off. And she was like in bits.
Yeah. You know as well as I do, the best way to hide it is put it in front of you.
That's right. Yeah.
Everything is to put it in front of you, and you know, the best way to hide anything is put it in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't hide it.
No. We're in a massive fascist dictatorship, worse than any Nazi regime, I can tell you.
Totally.
That is hell bent on some of the most horrible things in the world. Thank God there's people like you, me, and millions of other people out there that are actually stand up and shine a light to say, you know, that's it. Matthew John says, good evening to you, Grant. Who's listening.
Good evening, Matthew.
You probably know Matthew, do you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, lovely guy.
I've chatted to Matthew,
Yeah, lovely guy. And I don't know what to say, Grant. It's been amazing having you. I could sit and talk to you for hours, you know. I know it's a bit lastminute.com, but I'm really glad you come on. And you know, and I know you said, what should we talk about or whatever, but I mean, I don't have any script. You know, it's whatever it's going to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Nice and natural.
Yeah. Stella Edmondson says The Keepers by Jim Sparks. That's an amazing book, that is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, there's a distinction, because I mentioned to a lady called Lucy D'Angelis on Facebook. She's a naturopath and a nutritionist. And I said to her, you know, all this stuff about 144,000, right? I said, you've got all these spiritual people and so-called spiritual people, and then you've got all the truthers. But very rarely the spiritual and truthers mix or have the same
No.
kind of beliefs. You know, you get the truthers that are just, they're like hard and fast, like, rah, 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 you've got to believe this, you've got to calm down, you know. Then you get the spiritual love and light. It's like the complete opposite ends of the scale.
Yeah.
Rather than having the realist truthers and spiritual people right in the middle.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I class myself as both. So, you know, but as does Matthew John, he says. And we do sit in that place where, you know, if people don't stand up and speak, like you, like me, like Matthew, like loads and loads, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, what do? We might as well just pack it in.
Well, that's it. And what the fear is that you become what you call a TI.
Yeah.
A targeted individual.
Yeah. Which
is, you know, I've had everything taken out of my life. And it's like, well, there you go. Right, now you've taken everything from me. Right, okay. Now I can go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, do you know, one of the biggest things, you'll know this, and I know it as well. I you know, we all have points of life where we had everything. And then we lose it all. Now, that might come by bad source, like it did with you, and to a degree it did with me. But, you know, it's the best thing that could happen to me because, you know, you are there with nothing and you have to start again. It's like big coming out of the womb. Start afresh.
That's exactly right. It really is. It really is. And that's a hard thing to take in the beginning.
Yes, it is.
Because you think, bloody hell, I had all this, I had all that. And but what you're doing is you're living your life according to society. What they're telling you should be successful-wise.
Yes.
Not spiritually successful.
No. And you know? And you're absolutely right, because what you look back and think, I was just on a bit of a gravy train there. Wasn't real.
Yeah. Well, you're living your life for others. I mean, I used to be into all the property game. You know, I was around millionaires on round tables. I was paying a fortune a month to be around millionaires, being in a mindset, learning tricks and all that, which was great. But when my life crashed, and I thought, I need to rebuild that again. I've got to get back into property again. And I threw my last bit of money I had going into property, but it didn't sit right.
No.
I was sitting in there going, these are horrible, disgusting people, actually.
Yeah.
I don't like these people. These are, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do it. You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then a new path emerges.
Absolutely. And you know, death and rebirth is good for all of us because we learn a different value, and that's the most important factor.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the important things why I do the show is to have people like you and all the guests I have on every week to come on to express themselves with a voice that can be heard. And from next week, this goes on to a completely different platform and goes out on a much bigger scale. And where next time you'll be on, you'll be sharing a screen with me, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
So we see you as well. So that'd be really good. I've got somebody in the background working very hard with that, which I really appreciate. I know a bit, but I don't know a lot. But, you know, you can't know a lot about everything, can you?
No, exactly. That's it. But we're all doing this for the children, aren't we? We're doing this for the children in the future.
You're absolutely right. It is.
The Pied Piper's taking them.
Yeah, it is the babies. It is the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably up until I would even go as far up into the early 20s. Basically, they're all children at the end of the day. They're not. They're years behind where they should be at their age. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they've been technically stunted.
Well, to indoctrination centres, haven't they? Schools.
Well, yeah, and they're called PlayStations and things like that as well.
Yeah.
Debbie Johnson says, "Amazing, thank you. Meant to have heard this," she said. So that's nice. Thanks,
brilliant.
Debbie. You've been amazing, Grant. As I said, I could talk to you for hours. We have gone over. It doesn't matter. And we would definitely get you back on. It's fantastic to touch base with you as well.
Yeah.
You know. And you know, likewise probably for yourself, because you know, you might have seen this before, you might not, but you know, at least, you know, I'm another one you can class that's actually in your crew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like Matthew.
So exactly, that's cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thanks, Clint.
No, it's been fantastic. And if anyone wants to get hold of you, Grant, obviously on Facebook, Grant Hicks.
Yeah, mostly on Facebook. Yeah, Grant Hicks, or Psychic Spiritual Awakening Community.
Yeah,
Grant Hicks. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or Psychic Medium page, whatever they want. If they're interested in readings.
Yeah.
But cool.
Fantastic. And this would go out on Facebook after the show or first thing in the morning, so you can put it onto your wall or whatever, because you're on it. You know what I mean?
Hey, there we go.
So
That's it.
All right.
Lovely. No, I've really enjoyed that. Right,
We will speak again, Grant, and it's been awesome, mate. I'll tell you.
Great. Excellent. I want to get on live now as well, Clint. So
Yeah.
I've got to get on now.
Absolutely.
Right,
well, enjoy yourself.
Thanks, Clint.
All right, no worries.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
What a lovely guy, Grant Hicks. What a trooper. What somebody that actually just says it as it is, like what we all do, really. And what an amazing guy. I have a lot of time for him. Really, really nice bloke. Says it as it is, and much more, and a knowledge and a wisdom. And we will get him back on this show. There's no doubt about that. And you know, he's banging the drum, as I try and do on here as well, which is what it is about. It is about enlightening people, opening people up, and bringing something different. And now we should have on the phone. This should be Dr. Horace McNorris, the very famous inventor of the orgasmatron, as well as many other things. And Dr. Horace, who is live on the show now. Are you there, Dr. Horace McNorris? Hello. How are you?
Well, I'm just relaxing at the moment.
Are you? Where are you relaxing? What are you doing?
I'm sitting by the Sea of Tranquility. You know where that is?
Oh,
just
yes.
outside my cabin on the moon.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? That, you know, are you talking by ordinary phone, or is it sort of satellite or planetary device?
Well, it's just like a normal phone because it just bounces off satellite, you see.
Oh, right.
And you got to tell your listeners that when they see the moon at night, they just see what they're meant to see. There is like a security blanket around it.
Is it really?
It gives the impression, it gives the impression that it's barren, but it's not really barren.
Right. So what you see is it's like CSI or CGI or whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because
CGI,
there hasn't been any new
it's
pictures of the moon for 50 years.
No, you see, I mean, they're all the same pictures, aren't they?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
we are talking to you live. I remember this because last time, I do believe, I mean, obviously, with your vast knowledge and wisdom, and obviously you've invented some amazing stuff, including the orgasmatron, you went into what can I be described as special a special envoy in a way, and sort of spy mission, is it?
Well, yes, I was on a special spy mission because there was something going to go down on planet Earth. And,
well, I think it has already with COVID.
Well, I don't know what you call it.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. Yeah, I've been there. I was there about a month ago.
All right. So you managed to travel.
COVID-19 is a planet on the edge of the Andromeda system.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went there on a mission, but that was secret. Obviously, something's escaped from there. And so it is an extraterrestrial. If you got it on planet Earth, just be wary that there's a lot of scaremongering going on, because it's just basically trying to change a little bit through the air, molecules through the air. It just changes slightly your DNA.
Really?
So when the atmosphere, well, I've already said too much, because there is going to be an invasion in the next few years.
Is there?
Trying to change the atmosphere.
What, from COVID-19?
Yeah, from the planet COVID-19.
And what do they look like, these beings from COVID-19?
Well, they look a bit like cockroaches.
Cockroaches?
About 5 foot, 5.5 feet
My
tall.
God.
Yeah, they're on the dark side of the moon at the moment.
Really?
What you would call the dark side. Yeah.
Well,
So,
I mean, these obviously are not here to do something good, obviously, are they?
they're not here to make friends. No.
No.
Let's say that.
Obviously, are you allowed to tell us what you just told us? Because that seems quite confidential in a way.
Well, it is. in a way, but I haven't divulged any actual, let's say, details as
Right.
such. So it's going to.
Can it not be stopped? Can you not stop it?
Oh, don't worry. There's something already put in, but you can't just go and just blow the place up. You see, you have to do it intricately.
Right.
There is something there is like let's say a kind of an antidote, and if they do cause a full scale invasion of Earth, it would only last a day or so before something happens to them. Let's say.
And obviously COVID-19 in relation to the terrible flu-like killing, supposedly killing disease that we have on the planet at the moment, is, I suppose, like a first wave of this, is it?
No, this is the second wave. The first wave was back in about 1935, I think it was.
Really?
Yeah, well, I put a stop to that, didn't I?
You did. But I mean, are they called Covenites, are they?
I don't know what they call themselves. They just look like bloody cockroaches to me.
Oh,
I had to go back in time, back to 1935, and put a lid on something there. So because one of these cockroaches went back and tried to alter history a little bit.
Wow.
You see, so I had to go back and straighten it out, shall we say?
And did you go through a time loop or time portal to do that?
I think you went back in my time machine, you silly boy.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you've got your time machine. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
My Gasmatron.
Or Gasmatron. That I mean, obviously.
Which doubles as a time machine.
Yeah, but that could be quite interesting, because if you go back in time, you could be having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not going to go into that.
And you're laying by the Sea of Tranquility. And what colour is the Sea of Tranquility on the moon?
It's orange.
Wow.
What colour do you think it is?
Orange.
It's orange. You see, yeah, it's orange. It's bright. It's almost like terracotta orange.
Really? Can you drink it?
And the grass is blue.
The grass is blue, and the sea is orange.
Yeah, and we don't have these silly suits on, so we don't need it.
You got any unicorns up there?
No, we ain't got no unicorns. We've got some funny, strange looking squirrels.
Funny looking squirrels. Weird. How big are they?
Well, they're about a foot and a half long or something like that, and
wow.
they do. You know, it's a bit weird them being here because there's no trees here where I am anyway, so I don't know what they're doing around the Sea of Tranquility. Well,
maybe they go swimming.
They could be. They could go swimming, or they're after my nuts. I don't know.
Well, yeah. What colour are they?
Well, I'm not telling you what colour my nuts are.
No, the squirrels. What colour are they?
Oh, they're
yellow squirrels. Wow. That must be quite. I mean, you must be sitting there, and you must be almost like on some amazing acid trip. Really, you're looking at orange sea with blue grass and looking at yellow squirrels.
And don't forget, I'm drinking my own moonshine.
Oh yes, moonshine. You make your own moonshine up there as well, don't you?
Yeah, which is sort of cider made from crushed up moon rock.
Wow! And does that taste all right? Does it?
It does. It tastes a bit like crushed up moon rock, but with a bit of alcohol. And
does it taste of apples?
Well, the ingredient, this magic ingredient, is the orange. You know, part of the Sea of Tranquility. You just take a couple of gallons of that, and you take it back. And I'm not going to go through the fermentive.
Wow, well, that's incredible.
I'll tell you how to make it because it's a secret.
Wow. Well, I should think most things you do are secret.
They are, but this one makes me talk rather a lot, and I can't keep divulging information. I hope I haven't got into many details.
If you divulge a lot of information, it would put your life at risk, I would imagine, wouldn't it?
Well, not really. not when I'm up here because no one can get to me here. But it's when I go to the leisure planet, or rather the leisure moon. It's actually
Leisure Moon. What's that? Where is that?
That's Titan.
Oh, Titan, yeah.
Yeah, that's the leisure moon.
Is it? So
Oh,
that's
that's
like
a fun
one big
time
party
there.
place.
Well, yeah, it's all inside. You can't see nothing from the
All
top.
right, it's all in
inside,
the planet
see?
itself.
Yeah. Well, no, in the moon. It's not a planet. It's the moon. It's
Yeah.
Titan.
But I mean, most of these planets and moons all have life inside them anyway, don't they?
Well, some of them I come across, yeah, but I don't know about all of them. I haven't been to all of them.
Well, no, I'm sure you haven't because they're infinite, aren't they? There's just loads of them.
Yeah, I haven't been to Mars because Mars is just boring. That's how its day. It's a dead planet. It used to be a thriving community.
Wow, what happened there? Did they run out of moon rock or what?
Well, I guess they sort of do what most places do, planets or something. They had maybe revolutions and things like that, or whatever, killed each other off. But there's evidence on Mars that they know there's water there, but it's contaminated. It's still radioactive.
Wow.
So they must have had radioactive
war,
explosion or something like that, some kind of nuclear war.
Wow.
Several thousand years ago, I don't know, but there's nothing there left on top. There's plenty underneath.
I mean, apparently,
nothing on top. But
allegedly, that
no one there.
Have you seen the new American US Starfleet?
Starfleet? What's this? Star Trek or something?
No, well, this is the new arm of the American government, which is ships that fly in orbit, basically, that are like aircraft carriers and all sorts of that.
Well, that's fine, but they won't do any good. Well, they won't do anything. It would take them bloody 6 months to get to Venus.
Well, that's true, yeah. But it doesn't take you that long, does it?
6 months. It would take them, 6 years, I think it is, to get to Titan, to get to Saturn.
Wow.
At their current speed, so that's a bit bloody ridiculous, isn't it?
But
the time they get there, everything on their ship would be out of date.
Well, that's true.
All the software would crash.
But wouldn't they have technology advancement by extraterrestrial races that are here that's gave them advancement?
Well, they do stop every now and then and take stock of what they're actually doing. And this is one of them. They're just going to give them a little bit of false information, and they're going to go up there and they're going to. It's almost like a game show to them. They'll be on their spaceships, where you won't be able to see them. The people paid money, intergalactic money. They spend thousands, millions, billions of dollars, if you like, put it in our sort of money.
What sort of money do they work in then? You're saying galactic money. What does that look like?
Just to watch the show, they can watch a few hours a day of what's going on.
So this is why there's so many sightings seen around Earth. Is actually it's a bit like day trips to come and have a look.
Well, that's it. It's only the very rich and the wealthy space aliens that can actually come down and experience it for themselves.
Wow.
And they don't stay around long.
Well, some actually get off though, don't they?
Yeah, some may get off on a few things, I don't know, but I don't normally hang around and watch what they do.
I meant they land, some of them do, don't they?
Well, of course they land. How else can they walk around?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah. And that's all a top secret program as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I report to specific, let's say, powers that have a mutual interest in the extraterrestrials' whereabouts.
Really?
So
it's like a Men in Black crowd.
Something like that, yeah. And what we've found out is that the whole, well, not so much the whole planet, but the UK and the US of A are all, it's got like a huge bubble sort of thing around over it. But we can't see. We can fly through it, we can do that sort of thing. But what it is, it's like being under a microscope. microscope.
Really?
And you've seen Big Brother, haven't you?
Mm.
That sort of thing. Well, it's a bit like that, and a bit like the Truman Show, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically we're being watched by these very wealthy extraterrestrials sitting in their armchairs, doing whatever they want to do, and watching us make fools of ourselves, watching us go to work, go home, do all the stupid things we do, you know.
Is that they're called watchers, are they?
That's their entertainment. They're the watchers, yeah.
So you know, they don't have televisions, they just tune into a channel to watch Earth.
Well, they don't need to have television because everything gets downloaded straight into their brain.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah. Obviously, sorry, yes, yeah. That technical capability we haven't got yet because some of us haven't got a brain.
Not yet, but it's on the way. I'm working on that.
All right. Okay. Well, that'd be quite amazing. That'd be quite incredible.
I said too much. I think this moonshine's getting to me a little bit.
And obviously, you know, with things here, you know, obviously you can see that there are not humans on this planet that are in specific place of power. I mean, I don't know if you heard of somebody called Boris Sheephead Johnson, and or you know, Joe Biden. These are classic, very badly fitting human suits on extraterrestrials, isn't it?
Well, you know what we call Joe Biden in our special group, don't you?
What do you call him?
Joe Biden the Poseidon, because he's going to sink very soon.
Yes. Well, he's not a very nice person, and he seems to like young people, which unfortunately seems to be a bit of a plague down here. And I'm sure that you have your extraterrestrial people watching very closely what's going on with that.
Oh, we know exactly what's going on. Just that things will change. Things will start changing big time towards the end of this year.
Wow.
That's all I can say. I can't say any more.
So, in relation to this money that you have, universal money, what does that look like?
It doesn't look like anything.
Oh, right. So it's not real.
Well, no money's real, is it?
No.
Really? It's just, well, what can I say? When somebody has something that somebody else wants, they trade it.
Right.
But they don't trade it in, like, you know, I'll do an analogy like down on Earth.
Yeah.
Where if you didn't have money, you had to trade. I mean, just imagine, I'm sure you've heard this one before, just imagine if you want to go and fill your fuel tank up with petrol, something, and you go in there and you've got loads of sheep in the back.
Yeah.
And then you filled it up, and they said, "How are you going to pay for it?" And you say, "Well, I've got 15 sheep in the back." And they say, "Well, I've got too many sheep. You'll have to find something else. I've got a whole field full of them." You know, so how's that going to work?
Well, precisely.
No, the money is well, it's difficult to explain.
Yeah, I understand that.
It.
Obviously, you get paid very well for what you do, which goes into a bank account and isn't there.
Well, I don't get paid as such. I just have everything I want.
Really? What, you can have anything you want?
Yeah, anything I want. Well, as long as it's there.
Yeah. So, you know, what do you do? Just touch it and then it turns up in your, where you live?
I can't order it.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that's good. So how do you order that? Through the Galactic Federational Couriers?
Through Galactic Amazon.
You got Amazons out there, are they?
No. I just pulled in with you.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought they might be. You know, they seem to be everywhere else.
Well, we've got eBay.
I mean, obviously, you know, have you got McDonald's or Costa Coffee on the moon there?
McDonald's or Costa Coffee? No, we don't have anything there like that up here.
Do you have pubs?
So we have pubs. Yeah, I've got a pub.
Have you? What, on the moon?
Yeah, on the moon. I've always wanted a pub, you see. I do pop in there every now and then.
Did they deliver that by courier, did they?
No, they didn't deliver the pub by courier. No, they built it.
Oh, right. Well, that's good. How long did that take?
About 2.5 hours, that's all.
What, 2.5 hours to build a pub?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's only it's only like a cave sort of thing, but it's
Oh,
all
right.
been done out nice.
And what do you call your pub?
The hole in the wall.
And how many people come to your pub on the moon?
Not many.
Is there anyone else up there with you?
No, so it's just me that goes to the pub.
All right. So there's no other life on the moon there at all? Well, apart from squirrels.
Well, those weird squirrels, yeah.
Yeah, do they come and have a drink with you?
No, they don't come in and have a drink. I mean, they're awful things, they are. At night, you can already hear them. They're making all sorts of weird noises.
What, like what?
I don't know, whether we're mating or whether
Oh,
they're
right.
fighting.
They're at it. So these,
Yeah,
I mean, these sound like they're more like rabbits than squirrels.
No, they're moon squirrels.
Moon squirrels.
Yeah.
Is there any other wildlife up there?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a few birds.
Are they? And they're not ordinary birds, though, are they?
No, they're not ordinary birds. They do fly, though, but they fly backwards.
So, you got birds on the moon that fly backwards.
Yeah,
they might be Irish descendancy.
Irish descent? No, you can't say that. Because you might offend.
Oh, yeah.
Irish
Sorry,
people
I take that back. I don't want to offend anyone that's Irish out there listening tonight. What?
I just thought I heard a message come through, but no, it's not.
Oh, I thought you were talking to somebody.
No. No, I'm not talking to anybody apart from you.
All right. I mean, you know, do the powers that be that are in charge of you, do they watch you in what you're doing?
The powers that be aren't in charge of me. No, of course they're not.
Well, who's in charge of you then?
No one's in charge of me.
Really? You're a free agent.
What you call a lone wolf.
Wow. You're like the Han Solo of the universe.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could say that. But we don't normally go for Star Wars analogies or anything like that because we've heard it so many times before. About the dark side of the moon.
The dark side.
All about that.
Yeah. Do you have many alien craft land on the moon there and come and see you?
We get one or two, but only once we let through.
Oh, right. So you can stop them coming?
Oh, yeah. Because let's face it, who wants to land on a barren sphere? That's
true.
What they see from outer space.
Well, that's true. Absolutely true. I mean, there is talk of another moon rocket coming to the moon in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but they won't be able to get through.
So where will they go?
I don't know. Maybe they go somewhere else, but they won't be able to get through onto the moon.
And what would you say to people out there that actually think that the world is flat and there is no universe?
What do I say to them? I say, well, maybe you should come up to the moon because we've got some cages for people like you. And you can look after the squirrels.
So you become, if you're a flat earther, you become a squirrel keeper.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So send them up. We let them through because
well, there's quite a few of them on this planet that think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, well, they are rather silly, aren't they? Because how come the boats don't fall off the end?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I mean, what they're saying is it's protected by a massive 300-foot ice wall.
300-foot ice wall.
Yeah.
Right. So how deep is the ice wall?
Well, I don't know. It must go in the ocean a long way, I would imagine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you would hit it, wouldn't you?
Well, I suppose you would. Yeah, well, that's what happened to Titanic, wasn't it? I presume.
No, that's not what happened to Titanic.
Oh, what happened to Titanic then?
Well, it sunk, didn't it? But it didn't. It didn't sink by hitting a big ice wall.
Didn't it? What did it hit them then?
They got hit by an extraterrestrial spaceship, which was about to take off out of the icy waters.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
So it wasn't an iceberg at all. It was an extraterrestrial craft. Can't even speak properly.
Yeah, and the craft is now under the water there, quite next to the Titanic. You can't see it there because it's got that cloak of invisibility around it.
Wow.
But there has been there's quite a bit of activity around that sort of area when people have left, if you see what I mean.
Because they have thought about resurrecting it, haven't they?
They go what?
They thought about bringing it back up, haven't they?
Well, that tastes very nice, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring it back up. Oh, I see what you mean. I'll bring the Titanic back up.
Yeah.
No, they never bring that up. It will fall apart. Besides, it's a big grave. It's a big.
Well, that's true.
Grave, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that was supposed to be a ship that couldn't sink, but I suppose, ships will sink if it's extraterrestrial craft, won't it?
Well, we'll do. See, but the craft is a fascinating thing because nobody else knows it's down there.
Well, a lot of people don't realise actually the sea hides a lot of secrets.
It hides an awful lot of secrets.
And there is lots of underground installations in the sea.
You want to say that again? Because that didn't sound right.
There's a lot of underground installations in the sea.
Under the sea, you mean?
Yeah, in the sea, yeah.
No, that's under the sea, not in the sea.
Well, under the sea, yeah.
It's just, they can have underground installations in the sea. You can have it under the sea. Well, I think you've been having some of this moonshine, haven't you?
I haven't. I wish I had. And so, I mean, obviously, it's never day or night there. It's just what it is, isn't it?
It is what it is, yeah. That's what it is, exactly. It is what it is.
That's
what I always say.
Do you sleep?
I sleep, yeah. I sleep, once a week.
Once a week you sleep? And is that when it gets dark?
Well, it doesn't get dark on the moon.
Oh.
Only on the dark side.
Yeah. So do you go to the dark side to go to bed?
No, it's too far.
Oh.
No, I don't go there. I've only been there once, and I don't want to go back there again.
Okay. So, obviously, sleeping once a week, that's remarkable. You must be almost like an alien being yourself.
Well, you do have to go through one or two transformations to be able to stay up here on the moon.
Well, yeah, I presume you have, yeah, But in normal times, you look just like a normal human, don't you?
Well, yeah, to other humans, I look like a normal human.
Yeah. But to extraterrestrial, you look abnormal.
No, to extraterrestrials, you see, I look like they do.
Oh,
whoever
right.
it is, you see, because of my little gadget I invented.
Oh, and that changes the shape and form of your body.
No, it appears to.
Oh, right.
So they think they're actually, it doesn't actually change their body. It just gives the impression that they're talking to one of their own, you see.
That's very clever.
It does what it is, but until there are several alien races and they're standing around trying to talk to you, and you keep changing all the time, from one to the other, because it gets rather confusing, and they think they've been on the moonshine.
Yeah, I bet they do, yeah. And what are you're obviously relaxing at the moment by the sea of tranquility that's orange by the blue grass and the yellow squirrels. What are you actually going to do when you're up there then? What's your next mission?
That's top secret.
Oh,
Can't
right.
divulge that information.
Okay.
Can't divulge that information.
Right. You know, and I mean, Dr. Horace McNorris. I mean, you've travelled, haven't you? You've been to Moorland, haven't you? When you were down there, and you found that man, didn't you?
Oh yeah, down at Midsummer Moorland, I
Yeah.
found Midsummer Man. Yeah, that's right, Midsummer Moorland
What
Man.
happened to him?
Oh, he's with me up here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's my bodyguard.
Oh, right. Well, you need a bodyguard, I suppose, don't you?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it can get a little bit hairy up here.
Can it?
Yeah, I had to go. I'd have to send down for some shears. Can you bring some sheep shears up here? He needs a haircut.
All right. Does the hair grow quick there then?
Well, he looks like the abominable snowman.
Well, he's white.
Yeah, he's not white. He's sort of a browny sort of tan colour.
All right. Well, that's good. He's been in the sun.
Yeah, you could say that. But his hair is growing long, especially around his eyes, and he can't see too well at the moment. See? So I need to cut his hair and that around his eyes.
That's amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, Horace McNorris, Dr. Horace McNorris, sorry. It's groundbreaking speaking to you on the moon, and what you've told us tonight. I'm sure people are on the edge of their seats listening to that. And obviously, you know, you might have told us a little bit too much information, but I know that when people look out the window and look at the moon, they see that actually it's different to what it is.
Yeah, it is. It is totally different. You just see a grey, boring disc.
Yeah.
There, but I can tell you it's far, far more than that.
Wow.
That's just a cover, that is.
It sounds like a lot of rock bands went up there to do their covers for their records in the 60s.
That's very good. That's very good. A lot of rock bands went up there to do their covers. Yeah. But that's what the Squirrels do.
Oh, what? Do rock band
That's
covers?
The Squirrels. No, that's what the Squirrels' job is. That's what they do. Because they all get hold of this big covering, you know, and they put it all over the moon. You see, so it looks like it does.
Right.
You know, rather like when you cricket and it's raining, they put the covers on, don't they?
Yeah.
This is what they do up here. You get all these big yellow squirrels. There's thousands of them, and they all get a piece of this cloth, which has got like a photo of the moon on it, as we see. And
they cover the whole of that side of the moon.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it looks barren.
Yeah.
Down the earth.
And then the rest of the time they take it off.
No, they take it off when it's daylight, you see, because then you don't normally see it, do you? From down on Earth.
No, I suppose you don't. No. I'll tell you what. It's been fascinating talking to you, Dr. Horace McNorris. I'm sure you'll have letters after your name with what you're doing and your secret top
probably
secret.
Get sent to me a lot of letters.
Yeah.
They won't be very pleasant either, I expect.
And obviously we look forward to speaking to you again in the not too distant future, when obviously you won't tell us anything about your secret missions you've been on.
No, because they're top secret. I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we speak to you, you can talk to us about some of the inventions you're working on.
Yeah, I can tell you about that, and I'll tell you about the other weird creatures which landed here about a week ago as well.
Wow, that'd be really good. It's amazingly clear talking to you.
Well, it's a clear night, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a clear night there all the time. It's starlit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just when people say there's a blanket of stars, that's all it is, a blanket.
Like literally a blanket of stars.
Yeah, that's what the squirrels, you see.
Well, the squirrels put out a blanket of stars.
Yeah, to make it look like the stars there, but on the other side of it, there are one or two large spaceships.
Really?
You see, so they're being hidden by it. Yeah.
Wow. My God.
But I can't divulge any more than that.
Wow. That's incredible. I'll tell you what, Dr. Horace McNorris, it's been lovely talking to you tonight, or whatever time it is there. And I mean, they're mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And I thank you very much.
You'll tell a bit of moon rock going down the wrong way.
Oh, right. Yeah. But obviously, people can't contact you because you are not on any social media or anything like that, are you? Because obviously it's top secret what you do.
That's right. You're the only person I talk to about it.
Well, that's really good. And I keep it to myself. I don't divulge it to anyone.
No, because you're the only one that understands me.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, I have been heavily sedated before I spoke to you, so that's all right.
Yeah, some would say you need to be.
yeah, you're probably right. All right, Dr. Horace McNorris, thank you very much. We will speak to you soon. You have been awesome tonight. It has been fascinating speaking to you, and I really look forward to speaking to you in the not too distant future.
Okay.
And I might be better by then. You never know.
I doubt that, but one can only hope.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Horace McNorris.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Dr. Horace McNorris. Amazingly, still on the moon. What about that? Phenomenal what is coming out. It's absolutely incredible. Well, tonight's show has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. We've had some amazing guests. Patrick Gamble, what a lovely guy he is. Mags, Grant Hicks, first time on the Inview, and the amazing Dr. Horace McNorris. This show, by the way, will be it's being recorded. It is going to be put out onto Facebook either later on tonight or tomorrow morning. So that'll be really good. Just to let you know of the amazing guests on next week. It's a jam-packed show next week. We have got, and the show might even start earlier next week, I can tell you, because it is a big lineup. We have got Louise Love, who's been on the show before, but not for some time. We have got Barbara Hennessy, who is a tarot facilitator and does workshops, things like that. We have Karen Price, who's been on the show before. So with Louise Love, Barbara Hennessy, Karen Price, and Nicola Parkinson, who is a great philosopher, spiritual being. She does Call for Kids, which is to help children learn and develop. And we have Linda Bassett, who's an amazing spiritual being and reader and great philosopher of life. So, I mean, that's really a big show. Louise Love, Barbara Hennessy, Karen Price, Nicola Parkinson, and Linda Bassett, and a special guest as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guests on next week. So the high probability is that we will be starting at an earlier time next week. So it could be even 6:30, or even we might even start at 6 next week earlier to give it plenty of time. You've been amazing out there tonight. Thank you very much for listening, watching. Catch up with us on Facebook Live, on YouTube, my YouTube channel, if you remember. If not, it's going to be on my Facebook wall. And remember, next week things change. I've got somebody in the background doing an immense job in actually putting us onto a different platform to get us to a bigger audience and to spread the word of the Inview word, if you like. So I take my hat off to them for what they're doing. And that will then go out on Instagram. It will then go out on YouTube and Facebook, all at the same time. Plus, you will notice big changes to the screen. There'll be written words on it. It will have the Inview on it. Plus, also, with the guests we can have split screens, which means we can actually see the guests as well as hear them. So, please join us next week. It's going to be amazing. Massive lineup of guests as well. And all have a safe week out there. And remember, the philosophy of life is to look after yourself with the love you have within inside yourself, and look to the future with not any remorse or regret, but look to the future with the understanding of the balance of wisdom you carry inside yourself, and the wisdom that is invoked by all that you are in all lives that you've been in. And all of that is your truth. So thank you very much. And thank you very much to all the guests tonight. And Dr. Horace McNorris is just back on. I will see you all same time next week. Different time, probably. Lots of guests. So we could be starting an hour early next week. All right. Thank you very much. And if you're watching this again, please enjoy it and put any comments, any likes, or share, or anything you want. All right. And I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good week. Be safe. And I will see you next week.